Woodward, we are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid hot.
Fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener! Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. It's such a mixed show today, because there is a victory segment that we will get to for us Pistons fans and Michigan fans, but you know what? There's going to be a victory segment for one JBSmooovv today, our Spartan resident.
Oh yes, we're gonna kick off the show with that actually, because Michigan State did get a great win yesterday, capping off a phenomenal stretch of basketball, which we will discuss in a minute. And I can't even be on some hater shit today. This is going to be JBSmooovv's. This is going to be JBSmooovv's at least first 15 minutes or so. But yeah, we're talking about lots of things. There's another team, college team in the state of Michigan that played yesterday, and the results were a little bit different. And by a little bit different, I mean a lot of bit different.
Hey.
And we're going to talk about the Pistons as well. And the Commanders made a trade. Very interesting one. We're going to discuss that and how that relates to the Lions. But, yeah, the first segment's all about state.
Man, you know what? It's your boy Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter writer for the network. We got Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network, Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower, Go Blue lover. So that second segment is going to sting, bro.
Yes,
that was disgusting. But shout out to Matt Broder, that dude Justin, Cavassier Chase, and Sounds right now. JBSmooovv, the MVP. Take it away, man. Congratulations, because your Spartans, they're kicking off the month of Izzo, looking pretty good.
March.
I'm sorry, Flannel.
No, it's all right. I can't say anything today. Michigan State's 5-0 in that stretch. Are you kidding me? That's greatness.
What, 4 wins over ranked teams during that stretch?
3 on the road.
3 on the road. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, it's happening, you guys. It's happening. March is here. I know I sent you guys that text. So it's like, it is time. It is Izzo time in March. And like, we're just one step closer. All we got to do is knock off Iowa and then Michigan again. And it's like, this is an amazing season that we're just living in right now. The game on Saturday, hey, it got intense. It got intense. I'll say that. Jace Richardson was in foul trouble early, but somehow he bounced back in that second half. And like I was saying, this whole entire time, you need another point guard to step up. And that's what happened with Jaden Akins as well, too. So shout out to him. You guys are just putting up numbers. It doesn't matter what other point guard helps out, but just it's amazing that you can just switch up and be like, all right, Trey, this is your day. Akins, this is your day. As long as Richardson is still balling out there, it's perfect. And Cohen Carr, like, we might not need you out there the whole entire time on the floor, just as long as you can do some outstanding dunks each half. Like, that's all we need you for. But, my God, Izzo time is finally here. We are almost there, Spartans fans. We are almost there.
Oh, yeah. And yesterday, one thing that I certainly am concerned about as somebody who would be on their knees weeping if MSU won a second championship was Jaden Akins found his form from behind the arc. JBSmooovv, if Jaden Akins can get back to what he was last year and the year before from behind the arc, how much does this improve the ceiling of this team?
Greatly, because that, below 30% three-point shooting that we had to suffer through all those games is now finally over with. If he can finally find that arc, that stroke once again, that, hey, this helps this team out a lot more than, what we were going to go into this tournament with as well, too, where there's just having to kind of somewhat hope for that 3 ball, but just depend on that inside scoring. So, hey, I don't know what he's doing during this time between games, but, hey, keep it up right now. Just keep it up, bro.
And I'm thinking, too, and this is another thing that is nightmare fuel for me, but I know would make you very happy, JB. If MSU wins out and, by beating Iowa on the road, which is going to be tough, but I think you guys still get it done, and then possibly getting another win over Michigan at Breslin in the last game of the season, and then you win the Big Ten tournament, I'm thinking that this Michigan State team could maybe even fight for a 1 seed, considering all of the big wins that they've had lately. I mean, let's just look at their last 5. At Illinois by 14. And this was the same Illinois team that Michigan just lost to by 20 at home. At home versus ranked Purdue, at ranked Michigan, at ranked Maryland, home versus ranked Wisconsin. Those are the type of wins. This is the type of stretch that can get this team, I think, a potential 1 seed. And that's what everybody wants. That's hypothetically at least the easiest route. So JBSmooovv, is a 1 seed on the table for this Michigan State team?
A 1 seed is definitely on the table. It all depends on how you do in this Big Ten tournament as well too. I know right now that they probably have 2 buys, maybe, if anything.
Yes.
Yes. So hey, it all depends on how you finish out this tournament and how all these other teams look in their tournaments as well too. But it's definitely on the table. I would love to see it, but hey, Spartans, they're kind of like the Pistons. You got to grind it out and get it how you get it. So if we end up with that 1 seed, we'll take it. But if not, hey, we're in the dance for the long haul.
And I know that you are concerned about their outside shooting, but it's something that has really spurred the Spartans, especially here in this down this stretch, with an opportunity to go out there to get that number 1 seed, and they're going to have to continue this trend. It's the defense, man. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys put them in a body bag defensively, and you've been doing this now for a long time. Which has been the underpinnings, and I think is what's separating, realistically, you guys from the rest of the Big Ten. Talk to me about what makes this defense so special for the Spartans, and the ways that you believe they're going to be able to keep this thing up as the stakes get higher.
I mean, it's just putting the clamps on them. I know in that first half, the game was really close. They were down by 2, but that second half is just a resurgence. I don't know what inspiration time Izzo is telling these players back in the locker room, but that second half is like a tale of 2 stories. Like, somehow, some way, you just come out and just put the clamps on them and just kind of suffocate them entirely on their offensive drives. And hey, you know what? It's just us from there on forward.
Here's where we can kumbaya on, JB. I hate Wisconsin almost as much as Michigan State. So any day that Wisconsin loses in basketball is a good day for me. My hatred for them runs deep, and I don't think there's a single human being who likes either team that has any love whatsoever for Wisconsin. So as a Michigan State fan, do you consider Wisconsin one of your biggest rivals, and do you find it extra special as a State fan when State beats them?
I mean, they're definitely up there. I'll definitely say that. Obviously, Michigan is the biggest of them, but yeah, I definitely think Wisconsin is up there. And hey, any day that we can kumbaya together and say, hey, you know what, we hate Wisconsin as well too, I think that's a good day. So I'm happy with it.
Hey, you know what, man? Broder entered the chat, man, and he's entering it pretty hot and spicy right now. Oh, Lord. If you guys see his last chat, I'm not going to read it, but good morning to you, to our brother Broder. And that dude, hey, what up, though? KG just walked into the building. But Michigan State, man, it is the month of Izzo, and it's so much so that Flannel's not even reacting to it this morning, man. That's how special it's been. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. Every single year, his teams look like night and day from the start of the season to the end of it, where every year they seem to just have this opportunity to make it to the Sweet 16. It's almost like you can just pencil them in there. And that, to me, is, I think, where you get this moniker of Izzo, but that's where he's getting to a point where you really want for his legacy. If you're a person that's really rooting for the legacy of a Tom Izzo, I think that this is a good opportunity for them to go out there and make something happen in this tournament.
Oh, man.
He has to win another one.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If he gets 2, I will, like I said, be weeping. But I will also, and part of the reason I'll be weeping is because I will no longer be able to say anything about Tom Izzo in terms of being one of the greatest coaches in college basketball history. And he already is. If he gets 2, that'll give him the same amount of national championships as Jay Wright and Bill Self. And I think with everything else that Tom Izzo has done, especially with the 8 Final Fours, that will put him in just elite company, where we're talking about him in the same breath as like a Roy Williams, and not quite Coach K, but where I think he passes Jay Wright and Bill Self on the pantheon of all-time head coaches in college basketball history.
And I kind of feel like he is, but these narratives, you got to win those championships as a coach. it's so tough to do that you can't take it away from somebody when they've done it. And that's where I agree with you. You know what? Despite what I think of Tom Izzo as a coach, you go out there and you win that second one, man. And it's been awesome because at the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, we got an opportunity to say hi to Tom Izzo. You got an opportunity to interview him. Didn't even know it was going to happen at first. And you guys did a great job with that. And we kicked off the Pistons season at the Breslin Center. Matt Ishbia and Tom Izzo and those guys were just down there. So maybe we should have been, looking at the writing on the wall that this might have been a year of Sparta. I don't even want to say that, man, because they look really freaking good, bro. Like, no, Michigan it's not just that they beat a ranked Michigan because Illinois just beat a ranked Michigan. But what kicked it off? We were looking good, and then Michigan State just did something to us, man. Relatively good. You want to clean up those turnovers. But Michigan State, the way that they beat us, and then obviously had a little bit of a bounce-back win, and then Illinois just kind of took the wind from out of the sails, man. And it's the way that Michigan State's doing it. Even other teams that are winning, they're not necessarily looking as physical, as athletic, as speedy, as well coached as Michigan State right now.
Hey, speaking of which, you know who Michigan could have used yesterday? Jackson Kohler. That dude was eating on the glass. 16 rebounds. That's how you prevent second chance opportunities and just and get some for themselves, because he had 7 offensive rebounds as well. And more on Michigan's rebounding in just a couple of minutes, by the way. But State, they seem like they're primed for one of those runs. Like I said, I'm not excited about it necessarily, but I can also acknowledge that things for State weren't looking so good when they lost that home game to Indiana and had that brutal stretch ahead. And I think at that time, a lot of State fans would have probably been happy with 3-2. But what do they actually do? They go 5-0. And it's amazing. There's nothing I can say. And honestly, JB, and I think you'll probably agree with this, a lot of the players on State this year have been inconsistent, like a Jaden Akins, for example, or Fears or Kohler, or of course, guys like Frankie Fiddler and Holloman, Booker. You can go on and on and on. But the more things change, the more Jace Richardson continues to step up and be that best player on that team, be that elite NBA prospect type guard that I think Michigan State is really going to benefit from in the tournament. And even yesterday, JB, even though you had Akins step up, you had others step up, including a Frankie Fiddler as well. Even though they've got Jeremy Fears and Trey Holloman on the team, yesterday was Jace Richardson's turn to lead the team in assists. Is there anything that he can't do?
I don't think so. Like, the man is special. And I've been saying this the whole entire time. They just needed someone else to step up. And it's kind of funny how you can just look at that whole roster and then just pick and choose. Hey, do you want to be the second guy to step up in this game? Well, guess what? We're going to depend on you, and we're going to need you. As you said, Jackson Kohler with the 16 rebounds as well, too, preventing any other second chance opportunities. Jeremy Fears, he can get hot at sometimes, too. Akins, he can get hot as well, too. It all depends on the game and who they're up against. So I'm just happy knowing that there is going to be that second person that can step up, that second guard. It just depends on who the name is. It could be Akins, it could be Fears, it could be Holloman. It doesn't really matter as long as they go out there and get the job done. But as you said, Richardson still stays the same, still stays consistent. So
absolutely.
Love it.
And Jesse Adams in the chat, I talked about this for a second, but I think he wants my answer. If Izzo wins a second natty, does he pass Jay Wright and Bill Self in your book? Yes, he does. Because Bill Self has had more tournament disappointments than a Tom Izzo. And you can say the same about Jay Wright. Villanova wasn't a team that was consistently making Final Fours before they won those back-to-back national championships. If Tom Izzo gets his second natty, which would then give him 2 natties and 9 Final Fours, that's just a type of resume that you could put up just right in the Hall of Fame, right in the WUW, and be like, this is one of the best to ever do it. And there would be no more questions about, he can get to Final Fours, but more often than not, falls short in Final Fours. There's something about winning that second championship that validates everything that you do. I mean, we know that all too well with the Pistons and the Bad Boys, and of course with the Red Wings in the late 90s going back to back. Getting that second one is such a big deal, and like I said, it validates everything that you've done, even though they would be an absurd 25 years apart. But that also speaks to Tom Izzo's consistent, I don't want to say greatness, but in terms of Big Ten play, in terms of just being consistently a threat in March, I guess that is greatness.
Yeah, and he didn't even have sometimes the best recruits. I know that he goes after those athletes, and sometimes I'm looking at these guys like, well, they can't really shoot, they can't really this, they can't really that. And by the end of the season, he has some of these guys taking great leaps. And I think that really is one of the foundations of their success, man. But
Hey, speaking of
congratulations, JBSmooovv.
Hey, speaking of Michigan yesterday, but before we get to Michigan and that monstrosity yesterday, we got a couple of super chats from nobody. WUW Crew back. Pistons play tonight. Madness around the corner. Terrion in the studio. It's a great day to be a Michigander. That is for sure. Deebo. That is for sure. And also nobody. Commanders trade, not interesting. If Deebo was still good, he would be traded to a contender in Washington. Segment over. All right, then nobody. I guess we're not going to talk about it then. I'm kidding, obviously. But I don't necessarily hate your sentiment on that, but I also get why the Commanders did it. But more on that later. We got to get to Michigan, and just conversations need to be had about them in terms of them actually being a real threat after a game like that. But first, there are no conversations to be had about the greatness of Feldman. And since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor, scan that QR code on screen. Use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And you know what? If it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. It's Caesar Sportsbook, the best sportsbook around right now. It's called it. Scan that QR code on the screen. Use code word Woodward1000 and make some money today.
What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. And you know what? I wish we could press delete on this segment, but we got to cover it, man. If we get hyped for the victories and we throw in the shades, we also got to break it down when they just throw up, period. Yeah. What up, though, people? Chat family, as always, you guys are the most important part of this thing. Go ahead and smash that like button. Michigan, they lose 93-73, 20-point loss to unranked Illinois. And when you look at just the team stats, they got punked on the boards, bro. And almost every other stat of importance, Illinois doubled them up.
Yeah.
What the heck?
You know, and honestly, in that particular game, I think it was the getting punked on the boards that was the most frustrating, because Illinois just got so many second chance opportunities. And, oh, by the way, this is, I think, the stat that was most glaring from yesterday. Illinois has a couple of guards. One of them, their names escape me, but they are 6'7" and 6'2", respectively. They combined for 20 rebounds. Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf combined for 11. That's the type of stuff that's unacceptable. That reminds me of the Michigan State game where Jace Richardson out-rebounded Vlad Golden. And coincidentally, or not a coincidence, those are the two games recently that Michigan has lost. And it was just... It's hard for me to get a good read on this team because on one hand, if you would have given me 14-4 in Big Ten play before the season started at this stage, I would have been all lathered up and lubed up and ready to go. However, when you actually see it play out, when you get expectations, this is where situations like this are unacceptable, where you question your team entirely on whether or not they are an actual threat to make the Final Four or win it all. Losing by 20 to unranked Illinois, that's just... And I think Illinois is a little bit better than their record indicates, but still, that is not an excuse. That is still 20-point loss at home to Illinois is just unacceptable.
I didn't expect the loss at all. That's just one of those ones where you're like, okay, maybe it can be a game. Michigan and Illinois, they have a history of having good games. But a 20-point drubbing where, it's 20-9 assists and every other stat of importance is just you're losing them. That's just where it's like, what happened? For everything that we do know and like about Dusty May, I'm choosing to believe that this is just one of those throwaway to tape games. This is one where I'm hoping Dusty May say, guys, we're not even breaking this film down. What are you gonna do? What are you breaking? Just go right back to the Michigan State game, improve on that, and let's just kind of move on. Because the Illinois one is one that I don't know. I don't know where you start with that game. What are you going to tell them to do? All the same things that we've been saying already? And that's where I'm just like, effort to me was the thing that I called out last game. I want to see this team turn up the effort. I want to see them go out there and just kind of throttle, put foot pedal to the metal, rather than allowing another team to go out there and dictate things.
Yeah, in this game, it certainly was an outlier in some ways, but you could also look at it, and this is unfortunate, but I've got to call a spade, as Michigan was getting away with a lot for a long time, and they played too close to the sun way too many times. And this was the game against Illinois where they just couldn't get away with it, as they couldn't get away with it against Michigan State, because I unfortunately have some numbers in a second, JB, where that prove that this Michigan team, in terms of being a real threat, not in terms of them having a successful season relative to their expectations, because that's already settled, but in terms of their new expectations, in terms of them being an actual threat to go to the Final Four and win it all, Michigan absolutely is on fraud alert. Just alert, by the way, but they 100% are. Give me that first one, JB. I got some numbers to show you. Fraud alert. Alert! Just alert. I'm not saying they necessarily are frauds, but give me some numbers, JB, because these ones are very sobering. As you can see, in Michigan's last 12 games, I've talked about it. Even when they were winning games, they were shooting the three ball poorly, and they were turning the ball over. Look at these numbers. In the last 12 games, in which they are 9-3, 28% from behind the arc, a minus 35 turnover differential, and a minus 32 point differential. The reason that they are 9-3 in those games is because they are 9-0 in games decided by 4 points or less, but they are 0-3 in games decided by 5 points or more. And my point with all of this is you can get away with this against Penn State. You can get away with it against Nebraska, Ohio State, Northwestern, even to some extent Indiana, Rutgers. But when you play a team with a pulse like Michigan State, like at Purdue, even Illinois, who's not ranked but still very talented, you're not going to be able to get away with that. This is a team that when you just look at those numbers, there has been an element of luck with what they've done. And I've given them a lot of credit for the games in which they've won close for executing down the stretch. But against Illinois, against Michigan State, at Purdue, which they made up for by beating Purdue at home, but still, Michigan didn't play well enough for it to be close so that they could pull those shenanigans at the end. So yeah, this does not bode well for a team being actually as good as their record indicates. These numbers, they just are what they are. I get it that to some extent, they're not the gospel and they could be misleading. But KG,
yeah,
have you been impressed with how Michigan's played lately, or have you, or would you agree that there have been games where you're like, man, they almost blew that one and they got away with it?
Yeah, no, I have not been pleased. If anything, I'm starting to become concerned because one thing that I feel like they need to work on is this 2-3 zone. I feel like, the last few games where they've tried to implement it, they have been absolutely slaughtered. And if you're getting killed with 3-point shooting while playing the 2-3 zone, that's one thing. But when you're getting out-rebounded and getting destroyed in the paint running the 2-3 zone, that's an entirely different issue. And I don't like the times in which he calls it. And even when they go man-to-man, they just, defensively, they seem to have no fluidity right now. And then I brought up this last week, when you can't hit the 3-point shot, that kind of limits the effectiveness of a Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden pick and roll. And that's what you're starting to see. If they can't hit the 3 ball and, Burnett, he has to play better. Shetter has to, he's been okay, but what's his name? Trey Donaldson, where the hell has he been at? Roddy Gale, he's playing some of the worst basketball I've ever seen. He really needs to stop shooting the 3 ball right now. Like, it's been bad. It's been really bad. Let me finish real quick. But I don't like, when they can't hit the 3 ball, they don't seem to have room for much else. And then you have Vlad Golden, who, he carried the offense for a certain point yesterday, but he has to be better on the boards. And Danny Wolf has not played well, and I think that's going kind of under the radar as well.
Oh, it is going under the radar, but I'm glad you mentioned it because I've got some other numbers on how well or lack thereof certain Michigan players have been playing as of lately. JB, hit it, because it is, there's this one versus Michigan State and Illinois. There's another one in a second, but I'll get to this one first. -20 rebounds differential, -14 offensive rebound differential. If I'm Dusty May, I am putting this stat right on Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden's locker, and basically until for the rest of the season. And this might sound a little bit disrespectful, but remember, their expectations have changed. Their name, up until the Michigan State game, is now Sharman. It's not Danny Wolf. It's not Vlad Golden. It is now Sharman, because in the games that have mattered recently, both of them have been soft on the boards. As I said, they're getting out-rebounded by guards. That's not acceptable under any circumstance, especially a Danny Wolf who still is averaging damn near a double-double. But Vlad Golden, unfortunately, it's been a problem his whole career going back to FAU. He's not a very good rebounder. And this is where I have to do the whole both things can be true, because I am very grateful for what Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf have brought to this team this year. Michigan is not 14-4 in the Big Ten without them. In fact, they're probably not a tournament team without them. However, when expectations change, when you're at a point where you're 14-3 in conference and tied with Michigan State for a Big Ten regular season title, and you're projected as maybe a 3-4 seed in the NCAA tournament, expectations matter. And you can't be having these type of performances against other tournament teams. I mean, Michigan State, for example, that was a bit of a measuring stick, and Michigan didn't show up, and they got murdered on the boards. Illinois, you didn't think was a measuring stick, but look how it turned out. Illinois was aggressive. They were cleaning the glass down low all game, and Michigan, it wasn't like if they were going to give up a second chance opportunity, it was when.
Yeah.
Every single time it seemed like Illinois would put up a shot, just nobody would be there boxing out or anything. And it's not acceptable. You have 2 7-footers on your team. You can't be getting out rebounded like this.
They got Vlad Golden on the perimeter. So you can't get a board if you're at the 3-point line.
And I'm glad that Flannel breaks things down the way that he does, because seeing that they got a 14 offensive rebound differential like that to me is just disgusting, because you're talking about how many more possessions you're giving up to a team. Yep. And that's what we say. If your offense is going to struggle, 3-point shooting, sometimes that's not an easy fix. But everything that your motor and your energy dictates as it relates to hustle stats, steals, rebounds, As well as when you parse rebounds even more with offensive rebounds, you can't lose by that many. Because
you can't.
By a margin that many, like how many teams actually go out there and are pulling down 14 to 20 offensive rebounds in a game for you to lose it by 14?
Yeah.
So it's just like that to me is where I'm just hoping that Michigan and Dusty May find some way to be able to motivate this team to give that much more effort. I look at Michigan State, who – one of the things against them is they don't have the size. I know that Spinney was going ham after the win against Michigan. Said, they all told us we didn't have the size. But you see them going out there and pulling down the boards. And that's where I'm hoping that Dusty May, with everything in front of them right now, we're in the month of March. You're talking about the Big Ten tournament, because obviously Michigan State has separated themselves as the class of the regular season here in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And then you got March Madness, where Dusty May has had some success.
Yeah, the size only works when you're being physical. And earlier in the year, they were a better defensive team. They were a little bit more physical than what they've been showing us these last few weeks. And like I said, when you're a team that's just so dependent on the three-point shot in order for everything else to work, something's got to give. At one point, this team was averaging around 80 points a game. So games like this is unacceptable, man. You were right there in the first half. I mean, it was only 1 point, and then you just let this snowball into this, man. They couldn't miss from three, but nor were you really going out there and challenging them. So this kind of play is very concerning, man, heading into the tournament. They will get in the dance, but they got to get this together quick, man, because if you play like this, I don't expect them to go far in the tournament if they continue on this path.
Physicality, you're right, because those teams that are lower seeded, and I'm so glad JB has left this freaking rebound thing up the whole time.
No, I mean,
because those lower seeded teams are going to come in hungry. Yes. And it's the Michigan brand. You go in there, you play one of these teams that are physical, that are hungry, that are scrappy, that are going after everything, you will get upset in the tournament. That's where I'm so glad you guys call out the physicality and the rebounds, because that's one of the most glaring and disgusting stats of all of this. I can deal with if you can't hit the broadside of a barn. But this right here, it tells so much more than just rebounding.
Yeah. Especially when you have 2 7-footers, man.
And that's the thing. And this is what I was talking about at the beginning, but their names escaped me. But a couple of Illinois guards yesterday. I mean, Illinois, they have a big man, Ivisic. He only had 3 rebounds. Man. It wasn't even him. It was their guards, Trey White and Kylan Boswell. Trey White 6'7", Kylan Boswell is 6'2".
And Will Riley in the second half.
Hey, sure. I mean, him too. And then you watch it, and it just – you kept seeing White with another rebound. Oh, Boswell with another rebound. It's like, box these MFers out. Their mouse is in the house, but it wasn't happening. And that's what makes it so bad. And it was the same thing with Jace Richardson in the state game. It's like, put a body on these guys for the love of.
That's why I say when the 2-3 isn't working, they have easy cuts to the basket from the 3-point line. They can easily just cut and get to the basket without anybody really being there.
They don't want to get put in that pick and roll blender if they go man to man.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Can Michigan defend man to man? They're going to put the big men in pick and rolls.
Yep. And I got one more list of stats that I want JB to put up, because you had mentioned something, KG, about how it seems like lately Danny Wolf's not playing well, neither is Trey Donaldson. Mm-hmm. Well, the numbers bear that out. That's not good.
Jesus.
Danny Wolf, in the last 4 games, and these are the 4 games that are bookended with the losses to MSU and Illinois, is averaging 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists per game on 41, 21, 50 shooting splits. Those free throws have been a problem with Danny Wolf lately, and 3 turnovers per game. Trey Donaldson is averaging 7 points, 3 assists on 34% from the floor and 27% from behind the arc. And Danny Wolf, I'll tell you what, I can't call him a unicorn anymore. And I'm not saying that he hasn't been great for most of the year, but you can't go through stretches like this. I mean, he's 7'1", and he's a 3-level scorer, and he can pass like a guard. This is not acceptable. This is the type of performance where you think to yourself, man, if we just got more from our star, maybe Michigan hangs close with MSU. Maybe Michigan doesn't get blitzed in the second half against Illinois. And the same with Trey Donaldson. Trey Donaldson is certainly not the caliber of player that Danny Wolf has been, but Trey Donaldson has been great for them this season. He's been probably your 3rd best player and one of your best playmakers, either him or Danny Wolf. And these numbers are they're just not it. And Danny Wolf in particular, I want to zero in on him because he's the NBA guy. There have been stretches both against State and against Illinois and heck, even against Rutgers and Nebraska where he's just not being aggressive. And I don't understand it. And I get that he's the type of guy that wants all of his teammates involved. And I like that in a player. But at some point, you're 7-1. I've seen you numerous times throughout the year. Just get to the basket any single time you want and lay it up. I need more of that. And right now, I think I need Danny Wolf to stop shooting threes. I understand that 21% isn't on particularly high volume, but Danny Wolf has shown throughout his career, even going back to Yale and certainly at times this year, that he's a mid at best three-point shooter. Be more aggressive, and Danny Wolf and Trey Donaldson, they owe this team a bounce back. Hopefully they get it in their next 2 games against Maryland and at Michigan State, because if they continue to play like this, I promise you, Michigan will lose out. They will lose to Maryland, they will lose at Michigan State, they will lose in the Big Ten tournament, and they'll lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
That sounds terrible.
It does, but these guys are capable of so much more, and I expect so much more, but these guys need to be highlighted for how poor they've been playing lately.
Man. And when you put it that, come on. You know what? You can't even
Hey,
say
I can't say anything right now. That was
You
a
can't even, JB. Goodness.
I've
Or
said
here,
it.
Coach, probably
Illinois
a better analogy of it.
Illinois is
no.
yes.
Oh man,
They're better than their record indicates, but that doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden ranked, and that Michigan losing them by 20 at home isn't disgraceful. It is. And before people accuse me of being too negative, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Michigan has still had a great season relative to their expectations, but when you start off the Big Ten season 14-3, you start to have us fans and pundits thinking maybe something more could be in store for this team. And right now they're not playing like it.
Before the Michigan State game, and that's what I mean about we were on such a high.
Yeah.
When we did the content, especially the video for Fox 2, just before the matchup, nationally, when they were talking about where could teams be seated, they were talking about Michigan and Michigan State being at least a 4 seed.
Yeah.
And so it's like from that time, it's like, wow, how things have changed. Michigan State looks like they're in line for maybe potentially a 1, maybe a 2 seed, and Michigan looks like they're going the other way. So hopefully they figure something out. I do believe in Dusty May as a coach, but he's going to have to find a way to motivate these guys from a physical standpoint. You guys, you pointed that out very succinct.
And before we move on to the Pistons, which will be, they had a mixed bag weekend, but I think all in all it was a success. I want to read this from Michigander 1212. Danny Wolf might be better at 3 if he was actually willing to shoot the ball. You're statistically better if you shoot it more. Yeah. Ask Illinois. They kept getting second. They weren't shooting the ball from 3 well until they were in the second half.
but it helps when you getting second chance points out the fucking ass.
That's
Like,
exactly what I was
come on,
about
man.
to say.
Dang.
Well said.
Eventually
well
you'll
said.
hit one.
Danny, yes.
Shit is simple math, man.
Danny would rather pass the
math.
ball than do anything with it. And, you know, like I said, I like pass-first players. I really do. But what that does is it takes away one of your biggest weapons on the team, which is Danny Wolf in the paint. And Danny Wolf also, I wouldn't say for every spectacular pass because he does more good than bad, but he'll also give you one of those doing too much passes, which results in a turnover. We know Michigan's had turnover problems this whole season, and Danny Wolf, for all good he's done, he is their biggest offender of that because he leads the team in turnovers. So I don't hate that point, Michigander, but I will say this, Danny Wolf, your punishment for all of this is you have to come back to Michigan next year. Come on. You showed too many weaknesses. You got to come back next year.
I mean, JB Bickerstaff can help you.
Hey, he can help you after next year.
Right.
Okay. Oh man, 4 of the future. Get better, man. Get better. Hey, great job on the Michigan segment as well as JBSmooovv on the Michigan State stuff and being able to talk his talk, man. I know it's been tough for you, especially going through football season. But you know
football season was rough.
It's March now, and we all know since we've been little, this is the time that Michigan State generally stands up on the big stage. So, but we got to talk about a squad where we can all kumbaya.
Yeah.
I hope. I know that they didn't necessarily get it done Friday night, but overall, the Pistons have won 9 of their last 10 games. They finished February 9-3. Yeah, it's a 9-3 record. Think about it.
I'll take it.
Let's put that into context.
Whoop Killian ass, boy.
Yeah, they bludgeoned. I don't necessarily
Killian ass. Where Weezy at?
But they bludgeoned him and the Nets, man. Yo, let's get into it. Let's say what up to some friends and get into this business.
No, I know where Weezy is. He's about to be in our chat in about T-minus 5 minutes to tell us about how Killian actually played well. I've never heard that from a Killian stan before. But anywho, let's talk about Les Stanford.
No, he was getting everybody water on the sideline and everything, Make sure everyone had orange slices.
Hey, probably more impactful than he was on the floor if he would have been given orange slices. But anywho, let's talk about Les Stanford, because you know what? It is one of the best places to get yourself an automobile in the state of Michigan. They've got a 2025 Sierra Crew Cab for $249 per month, a lease, 2025 Hummer EV SUV for $789 per month, or a 2024 Envision lease for only $239 per month. That is an absolute steal. You know what? It worked for Spencer Raxter. He got himself a car from Les Stanford, and you guys can as well. Les Stanford, find new roads.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Planet Fitness. They got 50 plus Metro Detroit locations. It's where your fitness is essential. And you know what? You can get a cheaper membership for only $15 per month if you want to work out at your home gym, or you can upgrade to the Black Card for $24.99 per month, where you get access to all Planet Fitnesses across the world. Join today in club or online, or visit planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Hey, what up, dog people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. Got to get them victory shades on, my man Flannel. Why? Because the Detroit Pistons, they beat down those Brooklyn Nets, man. They welcomed Killian Hayes to town. Not so nicely, though. They did beat the Nets 115-94. And the thing that I take away just instantly is that the Detroit Pistons have held 3 of their last 10 opponents under 100 points. 2 of those opponents were the Clippers and the Boston Celtics. So, yes, they did get smacked. Absolutely smacked by the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets came in here and said, yeah, we heard you've been playing some defense. We're just one of those teams that don't care. 134-119 victory for them. And you know what? Mike Malone came in talking greasy. He was like, look, I ain't letting them do all this physical stuff. And we're all champions, man. MVP candidate. Jokic came in and got the better of them. But they did pick themselves back up, like we said before the break. Winners of 9 of their last 10. And in the month of February, Flannel, they finished, I got some stats here for you, brother. They finished 9-3. They had the 5th best net rating in all of the NBA in the month of February, which is absolutely amazing. Pistons had the 3rd highest field goal percentage in the league that month, which was their 11th best in calendar month in franchise history. So this team is not just playing good in the scope of Pistons history, but in the scope of some of the best teams in the NBA right now. And shout out to Asar Thompson. He had 17 games with at least a steal, which was his career high. And during that span, he had 33 steals, which ranked him 2nd in the NBA. So shout out to the Pistons. I want to be able to get into that environment, but just your quick takeaway from the Pistons over the weekend.
Over the weekend, we'll start really briefly with the Nuggets game. That was not a great game. I think that Cade probably played his worst game of the season. All this happened in one game, by the way. Yeah. Cade played his worst game of the season. Jokic gave you 23, 17, and 15. So not just a triple-double, a triple 15 on 12 shots. Everyone on the Nuggets not named Nikola Jokic shot 17 of 28 from 3, which is 61%, including Michael Porter Jr. at 6 of 7. You'd struggle to do that in an empty gym by yourself, but he did that against the Pistons. Jamal Murray 5 of 9 from 3, and Christian Brown was 10 of 14 with 23 points. So basically my point is that everything went right for the Nuggets, and Cade played his worst game of the season. Of course they're going to lose that one, and I'm not saying that you can't be critical of them for that, but at the same time, if you would have told me before even that 4-game homestand that they would go 3-1 and their only loss to the Nuggets, I would have taken that any day of the week. And it was helped, of course, by the way that the Pistons bounced right back and just put belt to ass to an inferior Nets team. And how great is it that we can be looking at a team like the Nets, who were without Cam Thomas and D'Angelo Russell, and be like, we're so much better than them. I'm not even worried. We're going to kill them by 20, and they actually went out and did it.
Yeah, you know what? They're a different class of team. And what do we say? Yeah, every season, and my Woodward Pistons people, they definitely know this. Rod and I wait by the 20-game mark before we actually set in our predictions, not just for the Pistons, but for the league. And what do we do at that mark on that show? We talked about the fact that the Pistons were going to rise and have a real shot at number 4. Go back and rewind the tapes. We said they're going to have a real shot at number 4 because of the improvements that we're seeing already, the commitment to physicality and defense already that we want Michigan to do. And we said the dysfunction of other teams. Jalen Suggs might be gone for the year and then some. The NBA Shams just announced yesterday that he's gone. So Orlando is now dealing with that, and that puts more pressure because he kind of made up their kind of big 3 with Paulo and Franz. Now that's going to put more pressure on these guys who they've been battling their own injury stuff. You got Miami, you got Atlanta, you got Philly, you got teams that are fading. Not just this season, but you got to think what's going on with their long term. Then you're looking at the Pistons, who are playing themselves into a position realistically to keep pace and have a chance. They're just a half game behind the Pacers, a game behind the Bucks. They can make some noise here, and they're doing this behind, honestly, a resurgence of Detroit defense and physicality on both sides in the paint. This was an interesting stat to me because as much as I want to talk about their defense, check this out. 398 total dunks by the Pistons this season. You guys have heard me talk about Duren being one of those guys that's up there. Duren. That's the most in the NBA. So they dunk more than any other team in the NBA, highlighting their fast-paced offense as being an assault on the rim led by Jalen Duren's 162 slams. He is currently number 2 in all of the NBA in dunks. And tell me that he doesn't take those matchups with Nick Claxton personally, because he definitely did. And there was a time where I wanted Claxton here to play alongside Duren because I believe maybe give Duren a little bit more time to develop. But who we're seeing and what we're seeing out of Jalen Duren right now, that's why I say him and Asar Thompson have opportunities by next season to put their names in the conversation and in the mix of All-Star, because he's having an impact on this team that goes well beyond just even the stat sheet. We see what he's doing blocks-wise. He and Stu combined for 10 blocks. And the Pistons had their season high in blocks as well, 14 in the game against the Nets. And they were menaces. Teams were afraid to try and go all the way to the paint on them. And you know what? The Detroit Pistons faithful that were in the building, they loved it, man. Yep. Absolutely loved it. You can tell that this team, before, whether the shot's falling or not, whether they're getting some turnovers or not, their energy, their hustle, their defense, they're diving on the floor, they're trying to get around every single screen. that just seems to be high on every single play that I see from these Detroit Pistons under JB Bickerstaff.
And that's what I loved about the Pistons' performance against the Nets, because the Nets, there was a little bit of a basketball gods get back for the Nuggets shooting unconsciously hot from three against the Pistons, because the Nets, they were not so good. 6 of 39. The starters were I believe it was either 2 of 27 or 2 of 28. Either way, really, really bad.
15%.
15% as a whole, and the starters were even worse than that. But not just that, you highlighted with the Nets, when they went to the paint, when they were putting that weak stuff up, Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart were just swatting it away. Jalen Duren had 6 blocks. Jalen Duren was the best player on the floor that night. 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 blocks. And that first block that he had, where he didn't block it, he snatched it and took it coast to coast for a layup. Oh, that got me bricked up. It was beautiful to watch. He ran the break by himself.
Yeah.
Finished himself. I didn't know he had it in you, man.
That's the stuff that, you know what? It's like, it's there, but you were so frustrated because it just wasn't there. From a physicality standpoint, look, he's not polished at all. It's just what we're seeing right now. A lot of his supporters were like, we believe it's there, but where is it? And we have to be fair to this fact. He's had 3 head coaches in 3 years as a Detroit Piston. And this has been the best development, seeing how much they've brought in and how much they're pushing him now in shoot-arounds and in practices. I realize now his development is just now starting. Everything beforehand was effectively him going out there and trying to do his best, but without that guidance. Go back and listen to guys like Stanley Johnson and Andre Drummond who didn't have that guidance. And they talk about, we wish we had this stuff sooner. And part of their platform now is going out there and advising people, find guidance. Do the right thing early. This is a part of Stanley Johnson and Andre Drummond's story and platform. So to see them get this right with Jalen Duren early, and to know that for him to get this right this quickly, now that they have the development around him, it means that guys like Jalen Duren have always been working, and now they just got them on the right track, and that synergy is blossoming quickly for the Pistons. I didn't think it was going to be this quick. Did I believe playing with a chance to get 6 seed? Yeah. But this team is going out there, and they have intentions on hosting a home playoff game. And I got some cuts that we're going to queue up in a little bit here. But KG, I gotta ask you as well, bro. This weekend, I thought that this was a success, especially in understanding they've won 9 of 10. They bounced back after losses.
No, absolutely. And just real quick on the Duren point, coaching is definitely a big part of that. I am not doubting that at all. But to me, the biggest change in his game is just being aggressive. It's the effort. It's the want to. And you see it on this guy, over the last month, he's been an absolute menace defensively, man, to the point where I think he can be the number 2 on this team. Like I knew he was good. I knew, what he might have been capable of, but he's showing a whole different level, and he's still very, very young. Like you said, he's not even polished yet. And he's already showing us some things that is just like, we haven't had this on a Pistons team and God knows how long, really since Ben Wallace, man. The fact that he can go out there defensively. He had a block.
Him and Stu.
Yeah, bro, he had a block that looked like a 2K animation, bro. The one he just snatched out the fucking air, that was absolutely crazy, bro. But as far as the weekend goes, I mean, we all knew the Nuggets game was going to be a tough task. They were coming off a back-to-back, I believe. You would have liked to have seen the Pistons play a little bit better. And, for a majority of the game, they were in it until about the third quarter, and that's when you saw a championship team just take over from 3, and they just weren't good enough on the perimeter. Like you said, Cade probably had his worst game, but he's due for one because he's been absolutely amazing. And supporting cast couldn't get much done. But that turnaround game against the Nets, they dominated, and that's what you want to see from a team, man. Handling business against teams you're supposed to handle business against. And also, out of these last 3 games, I feel like the Celtics was the big one. That's the one we should be paying more attention to, is because we're looking up at the Celtics right now in the Eastern Conference, and to know that we can compete with them, dare I say, maybe later on in the year, it's good to know that. It's good to know that. I'm not worried about this Pistons team at all. You can't win every game, but the fact that they were able to just dominate the Nets, and I mean they dominated the Nets, that was a good sign, and overall a good weekend. It was absolutely a success. Just keep the train rolling.
Yeah, the reason why you look at that Celtics game as well is because of the Celtics shoot that 3-ball well. The Nuggets shoot the 3-ball well. So you're able to juxtapose those two and realize this is a matter of not just your physicality, because they were physical against the Nuggets, but you're going to have to run them off the line.
Yeah.
They did that very well and very successfully against the Celtics, and they kind of failed at that when you talk about what the Nuggets were able to do. And I believe it's because of where their superstar is. When it's Jason Tatum out on the perimeter and not a lot of threat in the paint, it's different. But when Jokic can start at the free throw or on the block or 16-footer, in the land of McDice, or take you out on the perimeter, everyone on the court has to be looking at him. Defensively, we knew Asar could match up one-on-one against Jason Tatum. Yeah. And so Nikola Jokic and his gravity, you want to talk about a player with gravity, that's him.
His
and so
own
he
orbit.
takes one sniff to the right, and the whole defense shift, and you leave a guy like Michael Porter or any of his help open, it's a bucket.
Yeah.
So it's like, in terms of where this team has to get, that's one of those things where you have to really keep up offensively more so than defensively and stick to your principles. Whereas with the Boston Celtics, they actually, because of their physicality and their size and their ability to be versatile defensively, they match up well with them. And that's where I don't care if Jaylen Brown is there or not. That's where I am more, you're right. You're glad to see this team go and beat some of these teams that they're punching up at. They got the Knicks now. They got the Celtics now.
Yep.
They got the
these are key wins.
The key wins. Yep, and that's what I'm talking about. I got one more stat here, and I want to we'll go to break and come back, and I want to talk more about the arena experience on the other end of it. But you talked about Jalen Duren kind of giving you some shades of a young Ben Wallace with his athleticism and what he's able to do, and he's starting to get that defensive instinct that I thought it was going to take some years.
Yeah.
But here's another player. How we talk about Jalen Duren and Ben Wallace. How about Isaiah Stewart and the name Rasheed Wallace? 6 straight games of multiple blocks for Isaiah Stewart. It's the longest active streak in the NBA, and it's tied for the longest streak of his career. He is tied during the same span for second in the NBA with 13 blocks and ranks 14th on the year with 72 rejections. His streak is the longest by a Piston since anybody want to take a guess? Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, Rasheed.
Yes, this is the longest streak with 2+ blocks. I thought that would have belonged to Ben. It belongs to Rasheed. Now, Isaiah Stewart.
And before we go to break, since you mentioned Isaiah Stewart, I want to give you some more numbers on Beef Stew, because the real K77, Beef Stew equals Defensive Player of the Year. Not quite. However, Defensive Player of the per 36 minutes. Him and Asar both have a case. I get, what is that? Well, that actually means a lot for this Detroit Pistons team because, you mentioned it. Isaiah Stewart has been swatting everything away lately, especially in 14 minutes against the Nets, which is spectacular given the fact that he's 6'7", listed as more, but he's actually probably 6'7". And Isaiah Stewart, following that game against the Nets where he had 4 blocks in 14 minutes, Isaiah Stewart is now averaging 2.5 blocks per 36 minutes. Ooh. Why is that significant? Because only one player in the entire NBA averages more than 2.5 blocks per game, and that's Victor Wembanyama, of course. No other person does that, and we know how limited Isaiah Stewart's minutes are. And you mentioned that he's 14th in the NBA in blocks total. He's 15th in blocks per game. But of the people who are in the top 15 of blocks per game, he plays the second least amount of minutes next to Donovan Clingan. But Donovan Clingan, like everybody else in the top 15, is much taller than Isaiah Stewart. That's why we say on a per minute, on a per pound, on a per inch,
he's cooking.
On a per inch rate, Isaiah Stewart's been the best rim protector in the NBA this season.
And you know what? This is one other wrinkle to add to just how good Jalen Duren and Beef Stew are. The first substitution of the game is generally Isaiah Stewart for Jalen Duren. Sometimes they're entering for each other.
Yeah.
They do play together in stretches, but when you go out there and you see what Isaiah Stewart is doing, sometimes it's amazing to know that sometimes it's just him as the main rim protector without the help of Jalen Duren. And sometimes to start the game, it's Jalen Duren with no Isaiah Stewart on the court. That adds a little bit more because some of these other guys who are going to get consideration, just like when we talk about Cade Cunningham and MVP and All-NBA, you look at the help that he has versus other people. trust me, bro, the Nuggets had more help than KD. Jokic had more help than KD.
Oh, yeah, not
that's what
even
I'm
close.
saying. And then when you look at this thing the other way from the defensive standpoint, it fits the same way with Jalen Duren and both Isaiah Stewart. They have less defensive rim protection help around them because they're generally subbing in and out for each other. But it gives the Pistons this opportunity to have an elite paint protector in the game for the majority of the entire game. Like, they're not taking dips.
Yeah.
Like, we read the stats about what Jalen Duren's doing blocks-wise and assists-wise. Oh, my goodness. That's just on a whole nother level because he's still at, like, 4.5 a game over, since the trade deadline.
Offensively, he's growing because you're starting to see monster double-doubles now, not just regular double-doubles. He's going out there, give you 15, 17, and with 3 or 4
How do you
blocks.
go from not averaging a double-double to just I'm getting monster double-doubles?
18
and stocks up.
18 and 11 on 7 shots and 8 stocks because he also had 2 steals. And by the way, just another quick stat on Jalen Duren before we pass it over to JB for merch. Those 8 stocks that Jalen Duren had led directly to 13 points, 5 easy buckets, and a Tim Hardaway Jr. 3. Defense to offense. That's how you start a break. Blocks and steals. Because most of the time, Jalen Duren wasn't just blocking the shot. He was blocking it and keeping it in bounds for his teammates or him to get the ball. And sometimes when you have the opportunity, you just snatch it out of midair and take it yourself.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And the fact he can run the floor is crazy too. Like,
it's a gazelle.
you almost trust him. Like, you normally don't trust your big man to run the floor like that, but it's been nice.
And I bet I'll tell you what too. If someone on the Nets would have stopped the ball, I bet he would have found someone for an assist.
Yeah.
But because they didn't, he was like, "I'll take it myself."
I feel like we have a whole highlight reel of him just tossing the ball up to Asar Thompson on the break, and they are second in the NBA in fast break points. Second, they're just that close from being first. And it's crazy. Dunks, do you guys realize how close they are to averaging almost more than 1 dunk a game than the team behind them? They're up by like 0.6, 0.7 dunks over the team right behind them. It's insane. And it's insane. I've really been like diving back into it, especially as we're getting closer to the combine and such. I mean, closer to draft time and the NBA combine and such. And we're going to be getting back into my Kool-Aid big board again.
Yeah.
And hopefully, a lot of the teams, a lot of the names that we had, the board kind of shook out just about that way, except for Dalton Connect. But it's just, it's awesome thing to see right now out of this Pistons team. And getting into the numbers, getting into just what's making this run so special for them. And you know what? You're seeing it with your eyes. And when you look at it with the stats, you're like, okay, yep, everything is lining up exactly how we see it right now with this team. They are more physical. They are playing better defense. They are playing better offense, and it's awesome to see.
Absolutely. More Pistons talking on the other side of the break. But first, JBSmooovv, tell us about merch.
You said merch? Head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. New designs for you every single week. But I got to talk about the ones we got up on screen. The LFG Red Wings t-shirts and hoodies. They didn't have the best outing this past weekend in Columbus, but it's all okay. We still got your back, Red Wings. And you can't forget about the Tigers as well, too, because I'm telling you right now, April 4th is coming up sooner than you think. You got to be decked out at Comerica Park with some Woodward Sports Tigers gear, and you can find it all at woodwardsports.com. All you got to do is just click on that shop tab.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Jars Cannabis. Look, if you haven't already, go back on socials. Check out the Jars Rail Jam that was at the Utica parking lot last weekend. Well, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that. You know what I mean. We had an amazing time. Jars Cannabis out in Utica. If you haven't been there, go check them out right now. They got deals going on. You know they got the Jeters for you. You know they got the Jungle Juice. You know they got the Cheech and Chong brand as well too. And they also have a special line of gummies that are infused with live rosin, and once those sell out, they are done for. That means you can't get them again until they start their new batch, their new flavor that they'll come out with even more. Jars Cannabis, check them out today. They are doing some great things. I know you want to get high.
What a game, 115-94 victory for those Detroit Pistons. Hey, look who was in town. One of Mr. Killian Hayes back in town, and it wasn't a good night for him. Hey, you know what? The story of the night was the environment here in the arena. Pistons fans were lit. Can't wait for the playoffs. Tell me what you think about it, man. Swat. What up, though, people?
Trolling people back down the stairs, huh?
It is Wake Up. Hey, you know what? It's different when you see the chat family as well, and commenters saying, you know what? Continue to do the walk down the stairs videos. Shout out to Kev Knows as well, my homie Kev Knows. He does a great job. He is an in-arena host for the Pistons, and he does a lot of different things too. He does Michigan State stuff. He is a Sparty.
Yes, he is.
But you know, shout out to him. He was the one that encouraged me to start doing that, and you know, he encourages me a lot out there. A lot of those Piston people do high def stuff, but I want to continue to do that. I try and make sure I get some of the opposing players, because we sit right by the visitors' locker room.
Yeah,
we walk right down the same tunnel. And Killian Hayes, you know, had to wait to make sure we got him, and it was cool because, you know, I know he got booed. I wouldn't have booed him.
Yeah,
he got cut.
I would have.
He was drafted to an organization that was just in dysfunction. It wasn't on him, in my opinion. But I get it. If fans wanted to boo, I am not going to gatekeep that. But you know what? The environment, though, it was electric, man. It was absolutely electric, and that's what I wanted to be able to highlight as well. How much of a difference I do believe this Detroit Pistons fan base adds to what we know this Pistons team is trying to do. We know that they say they make a difference for the Lions, and last night it felt eerily similar to those Palace days. Hey, the Let's Go Pistons chants just broke out, and it was like, yo, this environment was one, and it went viral on social media, man. Hey, you got that clip?
Oh, yeah.
Let's cook up, JB.
Where's that? All right.
Listen, the environment, it was so freaking loud.
It's a madhouse.
Kudos and shout out to you, Detroit Pistons fans, because I'm telling you, the Brooklyn Nets, they looked uncomfortable most of that night. There was like a little run they had, and when the starters got back in there, it was just, night for you guys. But the Detroit Pistons fans, they were on one. You could tell they were confident. They could actually talk some trash and heckle, and it actually means something. They were just drinking their libations and slapping hands with people they didn't know. It was just one of those type of nights, Saturday night off of Woodward Avenue, man, in the middle of downtown Detroit. And that environment, it just continued to evoke. And what was I hearing from people around me? Playoffs, man. Fans are ready for it. They're ready for it. And JBSmooovv, I got another video there. I don't know if I sent it yet, but let's play the Malik Beasley one, man. Real quick, just tee it up, because I want to tell the people something from that last clip with Cade. What I liked about it, man, is the fact that Cade Cunningham was ready for it, man. He had just hit the and one. Cam Johnson gave him a little elbow, and he was tired of the physicality. He went over and said something, and it got everybody fired up. But if you look at that clip, what creates the separation is every vet on the floor, they step in between Cade and Cam Johnson talking, and Jalen Durham was walking over because they were about that action, the Young Bucks. But the vets were like, you know what, guys? All right, you talk. All right, that's enough. Let's go over here. And it was interesting because we're talking about playoff atmosphere. We're talking about playoff stakes right now. We're talking about this team with the hope of hosting a playoff game. And they don't have this experience except for the fact that they got those vets, and they added another one in Schroeder who understands that as well. So shout out to them with that, man. It was just awesome to see the way that this team is putting it together with this mix of young players stepping up and playing big roles in these vets as well.
Oh, yeah. And Cam Johnson was the last person who should have been talking anything. Right? Respect. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but, he was not good that night. He was not good that night. And you mentioned that the starters for the Nets, that had to be one of the worst starting five performances that any team has put together at any point this season, because the only person that really saved them was Tyrese Martin off the bench. That was it. It was Killian was awful, Keon Johnson was awful, Zaire Williams was awful, Cam Johnson was awful. I almost called him Cam Thomas. He didn't play. Nick Claxton wasn't good. It was fantastic. And honestly, with the environment of LCA, the Nets were sunk before the game had even started, and that's something that's new for this Pistons team, at least at Little Caesars Arena.
Bro,
and
there were lines, big lines.
Yeah, by like 5 o'clock, I heard.
No, bro, the first quarter was done, and there was still lines out there.
That's crazy.
Like, that was what was crazy to me. And it's not like lines because they were just waiting to get people through. No, because I gotta wait. I wait till the sun sets, get in a little bit later on those Saturday night games. But you see people still walking up to the door during that time. And it's awesome. With it being right there in downtown, it gives them an opportunity to go kind of do the bar thing, have some fun in downtown Detroit, and show up to the game. And by the time second quarter happened, that environment was like, yo, get the playoffs here. You know why? Because it's going to be even crazier.
They not ready, bro. When Asar Thompson crossed over Jason Tatum a few games ago, that was the first time in a long, long time that I actually felt the crowd through the broadcast. I can hear them through the screen, and it was something different, bro. We haven't had this element of Pistons basketball in a very, very long time. The Palace used to get absolutely raucous, especially when the Pistons were going on a run and they were winning games. But now that LCA and people are starting to buy back in, and I've said this before, the Pistons had to earn the trust back of the people. Anybody that's even still to this day not on board with the Pistons, I can't necessarily blame them, because you need to see that this is tangible. You need to see that this is something that's going to be around and it's not a flash in the pan. I totally get it, even with them playing like they have been playing lately. But they are earning the city's trust back, and you are starting to see that. And it's not just on the weekends. People are starting to pile in during weekday games too. I feel like they've come a long way in terms of that. We were always, middle of the pack in terms of attendance, even when we were like really shitty. Yeah. But the fact that they are like winning now, and you're seeing the fans buying in, it's a different experience, bro. It is so good to be downtown and be in LCA. I'm jealous of people that go to games now. Like, for real, bro.
It's an epic time, man. It's an epic time. I know when Flannel gets that gets that credit for the Red Wings, it also gets him into every single Pistons game too. Hey, and we're gonna have some boots on the ground, definitely, and just a few more just to kind of set the mood as it relates to this environment. Why you want to get down there? If anything, listen to one Malik Beasley, man. He's telling you guys it's gonna be a show every game. Mm-hmm. He's telling you guys, no, we want the playoffs. He left the team. He could have gone back. Think about what he signed for in Detroit. This was I want it here deal. Like, you got to think these people are looking and are seeing what's happening, and you signed a 1-year, $6 million deal in Detroit. You could have stayed with your contending team. Think about what type of role he would be playing. I would reckon that the Bucks are firmly a top 3 team if Malik Beasley is there right now rather than here.
Ooh.
Firmly.
I mean, the way he playing this year, yeah, absolutely.
Think about how many threes he's hit already, and it's the high percentage as well. It's not just the volume. You know what, JB? Let's roll this too, because it was to a point where the energy was a little bit low, and Malik Beasley went and got that first tech, and it was just like, I want to get tossed. And went right over to the Nets bench and started jawing at them. Like, y'all can't F with us, dog. And it was just like, oh, he's really trying to get tossed. Walk past people, bumping people on the way out. And then he was like, you know what? In Bass Brothers style, shout out to the Mighty Ducks. He wants to get the crowd hyped up on the way to his ejection. So let's run that real quick, man, because it was just an epic time at LCA Saturday night. Shout out to FanDuel Sports as well, and the legends, Greg Kelser and George Blahov on the call there. FanDuel Sports on the broadcast. Dog, it's just like Malik Beasley, he knew exactly what he was doing, man, and that team just turned it up a whole nother notch that I didn't even know they had. And just one more video, man. Shout out to Jeff. He's somebody who supports Woodward Pistons, supports Woodward Sports, supports Wake Up Woodward. He walked over. He was like, I just heard somebody like, Kool-Aid. I was in media. I was typing up something. I'm like, and I'm looking back. I'm like, did someone really just call my name? And I look back again. He was like, what up, though? Went over there, man, and able to chop it up for a little bit. And he definitely gave his support to the WUW Crew and the Woodward Sports. And got a little bit of content. And I'm going to tell him, you know what, we'll definitely make sure we play this on the show for you. The arena is starting to be more and more full. Hey, talk about it.
Hey, it's live in here, man. The whole city coming out. Hey, I think the Pistons really going to do something, man.
They going to do something?
They going to do something, bro.
Talk about that boy, Cade Cunningham.
Hey, he on fire. Hey, I'm rooting for him 100%.
Let's go. Hey,
yes,
JB Bickerstaff, Coach of the Year?
For sure.
Let's rock, man.
Coach of the Year, man. Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, that's all Pistons fans in there right now. They remind me now of the going to work Pistons fans, where we could go into any conversation and into any game and no, we got an argument. These Pistons have a chance to win any game every single night because of how hard they play. When you look at all of the stats, like I have this whole dossier of stats that I've just been pouring through. This team is a lot better than even we've been giving them credit for. And the only reason why it doesn't look better right now is because of an 0-4 start. They had to figure out their chemistry. You had Jalen Duren and Tobias Harris, who kind of sleepwalked through the first couple months of the season. Asar Thompson, who literally couldn't play the first couple months of the season. But now all of a sudden, you got this team all together at the right time. Malik Beasley, who's like, I really just want to be here. I will do everything. I will shoot threes until my arm falls off. Don't do that. And I will make all of them at least 40%. And you got Cade Cunningham, who's taking that step in terms of all-star and wants more. He's like, I'm not satisfied. You know, awesome that this team can go out there and get a 20-point victory where he's only, taking 9 shots in a game. Like, that's the type of stuff that shows to me this team is really, really, really good. You don't want to meet them in the playoffs.
I'm glad you mentioned Malik Beasley and Cade Cunningham because I want to shout those two out as well. Malik Beasley, 5 of 8 from 3 on Saturday night, which to him right now almost seems like just another day.
That's normal.
Which is incredible because that's a sensational day shooting from behind the arc. I cannot stress that enough. 5 from 8 is unicorn level, and Malik Beasley just made it look easy. And Cade Cunningham has as well. I understand that he wasn't good against the Nuggets, and I understand that his numbers against the Nets don't really pop out. Like this weekend wasn't necessarily going to be on his all-NBA highlight tape, but even against the Nets, gave you 15, 7, and 9 on 4 of 9 from the floor and 2 of 3 from 3. He generated 35 points on 9 shots. He also, remember we talk about that this Pistons team just, they dunk the basketball at a rate higher than any other team in the NBA. He generated, Cade Cunningham, 3 dunks for Tobias Harris and 2 for Asar Thompson. So Cade Cunningham is actually the biggest reason why this team gets so many dunks because he's finding guys like Duren and Asar and Tobias, et cetera, Ron Holland for dunks.
You cooking, bro.
Hey,
that's a couple times this morning.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. It's, and that's what I'm saying. It's like we see it. We see them getting out there playing faster. It inspired a lot of the questions that I was able to take to the press conferences, our conversations here, and what we're breaking down and seeing. And we said instantly, you know what? Their best offense right now is defense to offense.
Yeah.
Their ability to kind of create turnovers, their ability to go out there and control the backboards. And then you have high IQ decision makers. So even if you wouldn't put the ball in Duran's hands to go run the offense in the half court, well, you're looking at guys like him and Asar Thompson who can do both a full court and half court, and then Cade Cunningham. And then I don't want to leave out Marcus Sasser, who every time he's called upon is stepping up and showing he can actually be somewhat of that backup facilitator, but he's been able to play more off ball. These guys, and now you got a Dennis Schroeder to the mix.
Mm-hmm.
You had another vet to the mix where they already had 3 really good vets.
Yeah.
Now you got 4. Trajan Langdon, it doesn't matter what Troy would have done or not have done. Right now, Trajan Langdon is 4 for 4 on adding not just vets that can kind of talk and motivate our players, but they're actually going to go out there and be a part of the fray.
Right.
Every scrum, they were a part of the fray. Like, even if they were on a bench, it's like Schroeder, get back for you, get tossed or get attacked. Like, Schroeder's like in the middle of stuff.
He's known for that, though. He's a fireball. We know that.
But you know what? Who else is? That's JB Bickerstaff too.
Exactly.
There's no rest. There's no satisfaction.
That's
it's
why
like
he
he's
fits the mold perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Like I got even more videos we'll play at another time where JB Bickerstaff is on it, because we got a chronicle.
Yeah.
Our JB Bickerstaff sideline chronicles, dog. It's another one where the refs blatantly missed something and he didn't challenge it, because you know you have to manage how you do these things.
Exactly.
You kind of know the trends of the refs. But he walked all the way out to where they were, dog. It was a timeout. I'm like, he didn't look even at his players.
Wow.
It was like the players knew, all right, this ain't even a real timeout right now.
Right. Coach just getting this shit off.
He went in. But you could tell he tried to be, like, he started off like, what, you know? But then it was like,
right. Oh, man,
and
you
then
love
they
to
went out
see
there
it.
and the Pistons, they romped, bro. And it's like, it's fight. They're gonna fight for everything that they believe is theirs right now, and that's what we see out of this Pistons team.
They better hope and pray the Pistons don't get that 4th seed. I'm telling you right now, if LCA is becoming a dangerous place to play, and it's not just, you know, us noticing it, it's the players noticing it as well. I mean, you had Tatum come out and said he's never faced a Pistons atmosphere like this in all of his years of being in the league. So I'm telling y'all, man, don't let the Pistons F around and get that 4th seed.
Home
don't
court
let them do it.
advantage in the first round of the playoffs against the Pacers.
Don't let them do it.
Goodness gracious.
That would be. Right now, the way that it's shaping up, I think that would be the most ideal matchup, because we know the Knicks aren't falling to the 5 seed, and and we've talked about it on this show. I am much more fearful of going up against a Giannis-led team than the Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam-led Pacers.
You look up your top gravity guys.
Yeah.
You look up your top ISO scorers. You look at your top points per shot guys. You know who you find in like all of these top 10 lists? Giannis and Dame.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to see them first round of a
nobody
7-game
wants
series.
that.
Absolutely not. And,
Not at all.
And before we get to the Commanders trade that they just made, there's a couple of super chats.
Oh, yeah, super chats we got to clean up.
Do you want to?
Oh, yeah, I can do it for you.
Big mad at the wings.
Let me
dog.
check these out real quick. Shout out to everyone sending in super chats. Get those in as soon as you can. We will read them off every single time, but let me clear up a couple of these. $5 from Burn.
How
He
close
says
are we as well to the giveaway. Let me
Oh yeah. I'll
get to
update everyone. $5 from Burn. It's like a scene from a movie, because when I went to the last Cavs game, I don't even think it was 50% capacity. Imagine being those players. Hey, imagine them. Dante 151 $4.99 super chat. Shout out to you. Can we laugh at Jason Tatum, because he was talking mad smack earlier in that Celtics Cavs game, and then what happened? The Cavs won. Go Pistons. Let's go.
Can I
gotta watch what you say, Tatum. Gotta watch what you say.
Can I pause for a second?
What's up?
Can we chill on Jason Tatum a little bit? Like, I understand that it was funny that he got crossed up by Asar, and it was spectacular. And I understand that he did the whole, like, F out of here when they were ahead 25-3 in the first quarter. But that man, I'm starting to be convinced that Jason Tatum has the worst PR team in the NBA.
No, that's a fact.
It is a fact, because you'd think that after last season that he silenced a lot of the hate, but you can also look at it as he wasn't even the Finals MVP. And
it's Jaylen Brown's team.
It's not Jaylen Brown's
team. That is Jaylen Brown's team. And
don't say that.
It fits me no different.
What people need to realize, though, and I will take my Jason Tatum cape off after I say this. When it's all said and done, Jason Tatum's counting stats will dwarf Larry Bird's. I'll just say that, and his per game stats will be pretty similar across the board, and in some cases even better.
And guess what? He still won't be better than Bird.
Of course, I'm not saying he's ever going to be better than Bird, but does he have a chance to be top 20 all time? Yes.
Will he be the greatest number 2 in all of NBA history?
The greatest
number
Honestly,
2.
though, the fact that he didn't win Finals MVP, I mean,
he's that deal. Like he's the guy that I really like. Jason Tatum. He does not really talk bad about Detroit. Like obviously we know that was Jaylen Brown who wanted to talk crazy, but Tatum, when he was asked just point blank period about even the environment, he was like, you know what, it's good to see, because you have to think about the ages. You have to think about this kid came and sat in the Palace of Auburn Hills while Pops was coaching against some of these good Pistons teams. And he likened some of this environment back to, you know what, it's good to see them winning again. Like, he had nothing bad to say. From that standpoint, yeah. But for my MVP narratives, no, man. I'm definitely like, wow, what a game to drop. But you need one when you're talking about Cade up against Jokic. That's what we saw was a battle of MVP candidates. It was Cade versus Jokic, and he didn't have a good showing. And you got Tatum against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, and he dropped one too.
Yeah, and Shad 216 says basketball gods literally hate Tatum. I'm not so sure about that, but it seems like he had an opportunity to have that moment. Like, we're the actual bad boys of the East, and by bad boys, it's not a Pistons reference, but like the top dogs. And they blew a 22-point lead right after Jason Tatum's like, F out of here. It's just, but Chuck Brewer, Tatum's not even in the sentence with Bird. Not yet, but I think he will. It'll be closer than you think when it's all said and done. And you can't convince me otherwise.
Sometimes stats don't tell the story.
I understand that, but Jason Tatum would be in the Hall of Fame if he retired right now.
Yeah, I understand that. He not lacing Bird's boots. He's not lacing his shoes, bro, at all.
But like,
I'm sorry.
Let me give you. All right, I'm on a tangent.
Yeah, right. Tillian defended Tatum. I know.
I just know this. For a lot of these guys' legacies, it just comes at a bad time for them.
Yeah.
Because Cade Cunningham and these Detroit Pistons are arriving. I do believe that they're going to have some say-so and the back end of what these guys' full-on NBA legacies look like.
Yes. Yeah. And for the record, Bird is miles better than Tatum. I'm not saying Tatum's better than Bird. Here's what I'm saying, though. Let me ask you this. Who gets more respect around the league, Jimmy Butler or Jason Tatum?
Jimmy Butler.
Who gets more respect around the league, Anthony Edwards or Jason Tatum?
Anthony Edwards.
Because Anthony Edwards and Jimmy Butler have the best PR teams I think I've ever seen.
They're also both alphas, and Tatum at times has sank away from.
But Tatum's better than both of them.
I understand.
He's better than both of them.
I'm not doubting that at all.
He's a champion.
But he's not alpha.
He literally was the best player on championship team. He was the best player in the playoffs besides for the finals. I'll give you the finals.
I mean, I'm talking about KG.
You are KG.
Kool-Aid. What is it? The color of my skin, KG?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it the color of my skin, Brandon?
It might be. Am I right here, though? Am I right?
Listen.
He's all that, but he's not the alpha.
I'll say. For the people that have detractions against Jason Tatum, in that role, he hasn't helped himself.
Yeah.
That's what I will say. I am actually a Jason Tatum supporter. I loved.
Yeah, I don't hate him. But
I love.
You do hate him.
I hate respecting Kobe from afar.
He's not alpha though. I'm sorry.
Bro. And that's that's what I was gonna say. As much as I know, he's in that Mamba mentality. It's just something that is left to be desired, and that's what I think. I think when you look at Jaylen Brown and you look at what he did in the finals, I think that's what people are looking at and saying, you know what? That's what Jason Tatum is. It seemed to be just a little different dog to the fight there. But it's just weird because Jason Tatum is still really good.
Yeah, he's good.
We're splitting almost like, it's like the greatest debates when you're talking about LeBron James and Michael Jordan and then Kobe or Tim Duncan and such. You're splitting hairs at that point in time. But I like Jason Tatum. I do think he is a one. I do. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
It's all good.
Jason Tatum's going to go down as the third greatest Celtic ever. He's already has a better Celtic legacy than Kevin McHale. Yes, I said it. I don't give a fuck. I know the old heads are going to destroy me.
Everyone's going to be upset about the Kevin McHale.
No, Kevin McHale was an actual Robin.
Right.
A real Robin, literally all the time in his entire career.
So he was Jason Tatum before Jason Tatum.
Right. Pretty much.
Hey, you know what?
I didn't even get to the rest of the super chat.
Bird and Jaylen Brown are the alphas. I'm just saying. Oh man,
I didn't even get to the rest of the super chats.
I'm sorry. I just, and Dante151 says no. Jason Tatum would not be in the Hall of Fame if he retired today.
No,
Six-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA.
He'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Like
two-way player,
championship now. The ring
now.
kind of made sure he's in the Hall of Fame.
But like with Jason Tatum, it's like the ring meant nothing. When it was Giannis and when it was Jokic, it was like, oh, this is 100% validation. With Tatum, it was almost fodder for the haters to be like, oh, he said we did it. Oh, he tried to copy the finals picture or whatever. And it's like, he has no aura. He's corny. It's like, bro, give the man a break. Give the man a break. Every single...
He gotta give himself a break.
Every single champion ever got the whole, oh, that validates their legacy. And with Tatum, it's like, he said we did it. Hey, what a cornball.
Here's an idea. Stay away from the camera, bro. You just not a camera-savvy person.
Why is KG...
Just go hoop, bro.
Why is Kevin Garnett's anything is possible?
Because that's KG.
Oh,
another fucking KG.
Oh, my God.
Bro, what are we talking about?
KG said anything is possible.
He got to take that Kevin Durant approach to the media and all of that. Just be a hooper, bro.
Yes, dog.
Don't worry about
That's
trying to be the fashion guy.
Thank you.
Don't even worry about trying to show that you're a
That's
good
not
dad.
your lane, bro.
They're going to realize that.
Yeah,
you know what
man.
I mean? You're going to be judged based on how you are a dad if your son's a hooper or not.
Right.
You're an NBA player. So it's just like,
it's just not his
I agree
lane.
with you on that one. Just go out there and put out the vibes of hoop culture.
Yeah.
Because that to me is that's what KD does so well. And those guys, like KG, put out the vibe of just hoop culture.
Exactly.
He put out that like, bro, we can get a basketball and put up a crate in the alley and we can hoop right now. Like that's the types of vibes. And with Jason Tatum, sometimes he put out them vibes like he's trying to convince us that he's something and say, bro, we already think that you're one of the top players in the league.
And once again,
but they don't. He's got the worst PR team in the NBA.
Once again, KG was a lead dog, bro.
No, Anthony Davis has the worst PR team. Jason Tatum's is, although I think Jason Tatum's is actually worse. That man he got shitted SHIDDED more on more than he was before for winning a championship.
Is that like plural, past tense, or both?
All of the above.
All of the above. At the time, now, will be. Man, I'm putting on my Tatum cape today. And Dante151, it was your fault. Your fault.
Oh, snap.
And yes.
I love poking that Sam.
And yes, when it's all said and done, he will have a greater Celtics legacy than Paul Pierce.
If it's something that go against the numbers, Sam just like, he can't compute it.
It is. Bill Russell, Larry Bird, Jason Tatum. When it's all said and done, he's right at Pierce's heels right now in terms of Celtics legacy.
Oh, goodness gracious, dog. This is hilarious. And you know what, man?
This is wild.
We got to get to the next segment.
We do.
I realized, I was like, wait, there is literally no Red Wings segment on there. And maybe for good reason, man. We'll see. We'll see where they go from here. Those Detroit Pistons, they're trending in the right direction. And the environment, it's the proper response. You want to see LCA filling up. You want to see those fans have something to really cheer about and to know. Saturday night against the Brooklyn Nets, you know what the murmurs when you talk to fans? They knew. We winning tonight. Yeah, this is a great Saturday night. You know, it's no longer like that deep freeze.
Right.
We see like the spring is just along the way. Playoffs is going to be here. Playoffs. Have y'all seen the teams behind the Pistons?
Yeah.
This is in their hand. Like, literally just go out there. 6 seed should be a disappointing floor at this point.
Yeah, the Heat are done. The Bulls are done. The Magic are... The fact that the Pistons right now are like those peasant Magic, it's amazing how far they've come.
Yeah.
And now with Jalen Suggs being out, they're a team, though, to the Magic's credit, they've gotten bitten bad by the injury bug this year. But yes, we do need to move on after I hijacked some things. Tell us about Lady Jane's.
It's epic, man. I can't wait. So we're going to have to just do the NBA show. At Lady Jane's, we take the charge of getting a haircut. Our talented stylists will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage. My favorite, that hot lather neck shave.
Nice and wet.
A hot towel treatment. Hey, make sure that you guys
nice and wet.
Ask, don't suggest. I got the victory shades on for the read because I'm telling you, being at Lady Jane's, you'll feel like a winner. It's open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. It's wicked awesome.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. You guys got to trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you all for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. And hey, JBSmooovv, how close are we to a giveaway right now? Because I know we had a couple $5 super chats come in before we actually started the goal as well.
Oh yeah. Let me see right now. I believe we are at $35 right now, so we're almost there. We're almost at 50. Shout out to everyone sending in super chats as well too. I know I didn't get to these as well. Shout out to Randall Small sending in $5. He said, "For you motorheads, the Pistons should be called the Board Over Pistons."
Rando, we got to work on that one.
Yeah, we got to work on that one. He also sent in another $2 chat. Give Sam a timeout, please.
I swear, looking at the chat, that actual living, breathing Pistons fans actually think that Jason Tatum's legacy is getting crossed up by Asar Thompson. You guys are outside your effing minds. And I get it.
That didn't help his PR.
Oh, okay. He's got the worst PR I've ever seen. In no universe is Kevin McHale a miles better than Jason Tatum. If you want to say it's a conversation right now, it's crazy. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that Tatum's definitively better right now, but he will be. Like, people just, oh, he's so soft. Oh, Matthew Kruger. Oh, it's not a man's league right now. Back when McHale was a man's league. I'll tell you what. Have you looked at Kevin McHale? I understand that he was a bruiser and he was a great post guy. He has less muscle tone when he played than I do right now. Look at him.
The era of basketball, you got to take that into account.
He was all NBA first team once.
I understand.
He was the second best player on his team his entire career.
They did have better parity back then.
About to happen. Oh shit!
You know what? Maybe the Celtics should just cut Jason Tatum.
Maybe
because he sucked. Derek White's better. They're better without him. You know who else is better? Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford right now. Old man Al. Oh.
Oh man, Flando has officially lost it.
I think so.
Flando has left the building, y'all.
Chuck Burr says he's the 9th best Celtic. Are you putting the Sam and Casey Jones over him? Look at those numbers.
I mean, no.
Can't forget Antoine Walker.
Yeah, you'd probably put Antoine Walker over him. Yeah. You'd probably put Ray Allen over him as a Celtic. Paul Pierce is arguable. Yeah, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not going to be mad at you.
Tough.
The truth, man. I don't know.
So many people.
My man got stabbed for the cause.
There are so many people who never saw him
stabbed for the cause.
Bro, people who have never seen Paul Pierce play, and they can make fun of whatever they want to make fun of in this era of his life.
Oh no, he was a dog.
He was a dog. He made a lot of Pistons fans cry and pissed and mad and cuss.
I couldn't stand him back then.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce, he does have an argument, man.
And no, Rando Smalls, if Robert Parrish is not a better all-time Piston than Jason Tatum, you stop that. He was the 3rd best player at best on some of those Celtics teams.
So, there was a trade in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
There's been so many trades in the NFL now. It just seems like it's just commonplace now. And I know that it must help with their PR. this feels like almost like a business decision. Like, you know what? Let's make trades more doable and let's make trades more plentiful, and we get more PR. Is working for them right now. In the latest one, we talked about not wanting to see some of these types of teams improving themselves at all because they've shown themselves as to be contenders at the top of the NFC and potentially for Super Bowls. The Washington Commanders, man.
Yeah.
They go and they add wide receiver Deebo Samuels in a trade. And for me, I'm still hoping if there's a guy like a Myles Garrett available or others, I am really hoping that teams like the Eagles and teams like the Commanders are not the ones sitting there waiting to scoop them up. Because I do believe, even though Jaden Daniels is always going to be that straw that stirs that drink, giving him more weapons that the defense has to be concerned about, that's only going to help him and that Washington Commanders team overall.
Yeah, and that's why I alluded to at the beginning that I get why the Commanders did it. Deebo Samuel, I have questions about whether he's still good. I think last year was probably the worst season of his career. Certainly the worst season of his career when it comes to being a threat in the run game. And when you look at Deebo Samuel's career, it's mainly predicated off of a phenomenal rookie year where you're like, oh my goodness, this Deebo Samuel is amazing. And then that 2021 season in which he was otherworldly. But a lot of his career has been really marred by injuries. But when I say I get why the Commanders did it, they do have the cap space. Even though Deebo Samuel is a $16 million cap hit this year, the Washington Commanders do have that kind of space. And when we talk about NFC contenders, I think they have, at least before Deebo Samuel and maybe even with Deebo Samuel, the worst group of weapons in terms of them. I mean, the Lions certainly have better weapons. The Eagles, you want to talk about, I'd say even the Packers and the Vikings have better weapons than the Washington Commanders right now. And with Jaden Daniels, you saw what he was able to do last season, have that phenomenal rookie season, while also leading his team in rushing, while having Terry McLaurin and then a combination of mid. So if you're the Commanders, you might think to yourself, you know, Jaden Daniels is the type of player in this Cliff Kingsbury offense that can get a lot out of a Deebo Samuel, maybe more than the Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan 49ers were at this point in his career.
And that's where I was going to go. I look at this more as not what Deebo Samuels might have been in recent history, but giving effectively not just Jaden Daniels, McLaurin, and mid, but really against the Lions, it was Jaden McDaniels and just capable. And everybody that seemed to touch the rock from Jaden Daniels, they seem to be open. They seem to be able to make the play. And that's where when you're looking at a guy with Deebo Samuels who is capable and then some, that's where it's like, think about the type of attention that a Jaden Daniels is going to attract defensively. And if you can get Deebo Samuels into space, that's where you have to be concerned. I don't expect him to come into the Commanders and just take over the wide receiver position in NFC North, in the NFC. But I do expect that where at least wherever the Commanders' mind is more or less what you were talking about, the ability to really just have more capable and the opportunity to have big play, home run type hitters on that offense around the Jaden Daniels. And that, I don't think that is something that you're just like, oh my gosh, you're shaking in your boots, but you take note, especially of a team who's trying to find ways to capitalize on what they did last year, rather than what we saw to the Texans, who one year they looked like they were headed to the top, and then by the next season it looked like back to the drawing board.
And Denver Blair says Deebo won't hit 700 yards, and that's certainly possible. Like, I'm not so sure if Deebo's even good anymore, if injuries have worn on him a bit. But also, when you look at the Commanders, you also have to take into account, and these are guys that contributed for them, even though they're not big names. Olamide Zaccheaus, De'Ami Brown, Noah Brown, and Zach Ertz are all free agents. Ooh. So right now, it's literally Terry McLaurin and then nobody, at least in terms. Who knows if they'll resign some of these guys, but they need more weapons. That's really one of the Commanders' biggest weaknesses. They don't have an 1,000-yard rusher, and they don't have a number 2 wide receiver. And right now, they don't have a tight end either. So they're just trying to it's an arms race right now. The Commanders, they fancy themselves as Super Bowl contenders next year, as they should. They made the NFC Championship, and they're just trying to improve their team. But do I think Deebo Samuel will look like the smartest move in retrospect? I personally do not, but I can't be mad at them for doing this.
Yeah, it makes it probably look, I would say, a little more desperate in seeing what their outlook is. But in terms of what they did in the draft last season of bringing in difference makers, that's where you're looking at what are they going to do in this year's draft as well to do the same. So I they've shown, and that front office has shown that they're going to be savvy, and they have an eye for being able to identify that talent that can step in and play right away. You know, I know there was a lot of people who didn't even think, you know, Mr. Captain himself was going to be able to make a difference, that much of a difference for the Commanders, and he comes into Ford Field and gets a couple interceptions for them. So it's just like, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because like I say, this one isn't one where I'm like, you know, this is clearly miles below Myles Garrett going to Commanders type of thing.
Yeah.
But it does kind of pique my interest and intrigue just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, let's give it up for Deebo Samuel, man. After about 4 trade requests, finally getting to another team, man. Clap it up for him, man. I'm actually surprised the Commanders made this move. Yep, you give him the golf clap.
I'm kicking and screaming.
I'm actually surprised the Commanders made this move, because I felt like they needed a more prolific receiver. And when Sam points out that nobody else is technically on the roster right now, it's a little bit even more surprising. But is Deebo Samuel a good player? Yes. Will he help the Commanders? Yes. Am I terrified or scared about this? Absolutely not. And it's mainly for 2 reasons. One, Deebo Samuel has never been a prolific receiver in this league. It was how Kyle Shanahan used him at certain points that really made him dangerous. But I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury and the boys really want to use him in that way, and they'd be smart not to, because the second reason is that he has a lot of wear and tear on that body. He has been injury prone year after year after year. It always seems like he has some kind of nagging injury or something that gets sustained during the season that keeps him out for a number of weeks. And I just don't know at this point in his career that you want to be trotting him out there as your, I guess, number 2 at this point. I thought they could have did a little bit more. And when you just look at, you know, before they went to free agency, De'Ami Brown, he has some skill, but he's somebody that needs to prove it on a consistent basis. Zach Ertz, he's a aging tight end. Although he is still kind of productive, he is a aging tight end in this league. So I thought they would go out and maybe go get somebody that's really prolific in the passing game, and they haven't done that. But Deebo will help them. I'm interested to see what they do next, considering that they have all these holes on their receiving core going into free agency and the draft. But it's okay move, but not nothing as a Lions fan that I'm looking over like, oh my God, they got Deebo Samuel. Like,
yeah, I mean, the Lions have infinitely better weapons than the 49. I mean, the Commanders right now, even with Deebo Samuel, but I also have to give it up for the Commanders, because they were the one that ended the Lions season, and Jaden Daniels showed that he can make it work with lesser. He wasn't playing with bums. I mean, Terry McLaurin is great, and guys like De'Ami Brown stepped up in the playoffs, but lesser weapons than like a Jalen Hurts or a Jared Goff had, for example. But there's some people in the chat that are not very high on the Commanders, think that they're going to fall off a cliff. Denver Blair, who is not having a great day, but I'll respond to this. Washington had a good year last year. It was a flash in the pan. Look at Stroud, Purdy. It won't amount to nothing. Don't act like JD is Mike Vick. First of all, Jaden Daniels' rookie season was better than any season Michael Vick ever had. Talk about someone with great PR, Michael Vick. Jaden Daniels was better last season than Michael Vick ever was. Ever. That's fact. Look at the numbers. No disrespect to Michael Vick, but he was always a very mid passer.
And that to me is why the Deebo thing, the Deebo trade just perks my ear a little bit. It's more or less to do about what's around Jaden Daniels and the fact that I believe he's the type of, when you talk about Cade with gravity, it kind of reminds me of the same thing. Can you put some specialists around him? Can you just put some guys that understand the league around him, and then you look at what happens? We talk about the fact that Cade don't got that much star power or help around him. With a Jaden Daniels, if you put some players around him, is he the one that makes it go? And last year, we all know he was the one that made it go. Obviously, we got more of an up-close and personal look at them, and obviously they came with a defensive game plan that discombobulated the Jared Goff in that offense right away. I do believe, though, that with a player as special as Jaden Daniels, who looked to be the sole reason for a lot of that season, why this team was looking as special as they were, that to me I put in contrast to the Texans, who I thought that they were very, very well balanced and put together both offensively and defensively with C.J. Stroud. So those Stroud shows that he could be special. He had that step back. If Jaden Daniels is what that rookie season was, I do believe that he gives him a good chance to be able to repeat the success that he had. And you look at guys like in this league that he's going to be competing with. It's going to be teams like the Packers and another young quarterback and a Jordan Love. Is Jaden Daniels, can he lead his guys effectively a little bit better than a Jordan Love or whatever the Vikings are going to run out there?
Yeah.
I think that there's other teams that are posed to maybe take that step back, whereas they actually, because of a Jaden Daniels, have a chance to at least stay where they're at.
Well, and just remember, people, because I see, of course, like Terrell Lamar, who his batting average is about 200 usually. I'll just say that.
Hey, chill on my man.
No, I will not, because he's got some. Y'all said the same thing about Stroud. And, you know, I've always been defensive about C.J. Stroud. It's another one that I feel like I have to put the cape on for. Here's the reality. Were his numbers worse? Absolutely. Did all of his receivers go down at one point? Yes. Did they still go to the playoffs and win one playoff game? Yes, they did.
And a division.
People act like C.J. Stroud was a disaster. He regressed a little bit. Let's calm down a little bit. I understand his expectations were sky high, and he did not meet those, but C.J. Stroud is still somebody who I think is going to be formidable in this league for a long time.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a quarterback that gives the Texans more opportunities to win than lose. It's just a situation of how special is he towards being one of those sole reasons why you can kind of will a team. When we saw, oh my goodness gracious, I don't know why his name is slipping my mind, Buffalo Bills.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah. When we saw Josh Allen come to Ford Field, that was a Josh Allen show.
Yeah.
It was just, and that's what I mean. Jaden Daniels, he puts off that same type of energy and that same type of vibe and performance, whereas C.J. Stroud looked like he was headed in that direction, but he still didn't put that type out his rookie season, nor did he put that vibe out the second season. We saw both of those quarterbacks. There was something extremely different about Jaden Daniels than a C.J. Stroud, and I still got high hopes that C.J. Stroud is going to be a guy who can run out there and give you a chance to win every game. It's just Jaden Daniels is a guy who, you know, you put a couple, you know, if you draft a rookie tight end, a rookie wide receiver, I still think he's going to go out there and have a good season with those guys.
I saw it was a Dante 151. What if the Commanders draft Colston Loveland?
Don't.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, you don't want to see that.
Nope.
Yeah, let him keep old-ass Zach Ertz.
Colston?
Please don't do that.
That's where the conversation gets interesting with them. Like, because there's a bleak picture of their current roster, but it's like they can go and add a couple pieces to the draft, and it's like, am I going to question their assessment in the draft just like I would in Brad Holmes?
Yeah.
They put starters out there.
But I also wouldn't trot out all rookie receivers either. This is why the Deebo move kind of surprised me, because I don't know what the receiver market looks like, but I'm sure there's better actual type receivers out there that you can pair with a Terry McLaurin. I assume they will re-sign De'Ami Brown because he's young, but and he can play that slot pretty well. But they should have never traded Jahan Dotson. Like, he would be pretty nice on this team by now, especially with a Jaden Daniels. I still don't understand that move to this day.
I think they're going to add a couple pass catches, man. It feels like it almost tips their hands. What you're saying, it makes sense then if they were going and get the Deebo to try and add the veteran depth through free agency or trade.
Yeah.
If you're going to probably bring in the rest through the draft.
Like, Deebo should be your number 3 at this point.
For sure.
You got to bring in somebody else. You got to. This can't be your sole move.
For sure.
We'll see.
But, Colston Loveland, I don't think he's getting past the Broncos or the Chargers, but, please, I do not want to see him anywhere near the
Harbs.
Right.
Come on,
no way.
Yeah, you know Harbaugh looking. He can't wait.
Harbaugh's hiring
I can't wait to have him come in here and block.
Connection, dog.
Man, in Denver, Blair saying Colston was always hurt in college. That's just not true, man.
Yeah.
People, come on.
Did Jim Harbaugh hire Kirk Campbell?
No.
No? Okay.
Wait. Did he? Oh, yeah. Was he on the staff already?
Oh, shoot.
I don't think so. I think that was a Sharon Moore hire, I believe.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll have to do more digging on that.
We will, but when we come back, what's trending with JBSmooovv? I understand I hijacked things quite a bit today, but that is my bad.
We don't even have to go to break.
No, Kirk Campbell is on the Chargers right now.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
What the heck?
Get the fuck out of here.
That's like a low-level advisor.
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck?
He ain't doing nothing significant.
Offensive assistant.
What the heck?
That's hilarious.
Water boy.
Right. What does that mean,
Water boy.
offensive assistant? What the fuck do that mean? My man. Hey, he found his way to another job. Shout out, man.
Absolutely. But I got to tell you about Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 for your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, Swarovski's crispy chicken and pizza. You know what? They got the signature wings. They have all kinds of deals. You got New York style pizza. They've got a limited time offer. Even though football season is over, they got 7 different flavors, and you can order in store because there is one close to pretty much everyone if you live in Metro Detroit, or you can order at Swarovskis.com. And then, of course, you go on down to Feldman. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, what up, though, people? We are back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and we are close to that like goal, chat family. So if you haven't gotten the opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button to support the WUW Crew, support Woodward Sports. Let's get that like poll going too, JBSmooovv, and then spark up word to George for everybody.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
It is now time for Woodward Sports champion, JBSmooovv.
Let's rock. What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's get those likes up a little bit more. And hey, we're almost at our goal for the day of $50, and we'll be doing another giveaway. Also, with the super chats, I believe we're going to start this a little bit tomorrow because I got to get a list of everything that I've got. But I've got some signed memorabilia that we're going to be, giving away with some of our giveaways that we got going on doing our super chats that we have up here. But like I said, I got to get the list together. I'll hand it off to Kool-Aid probably later on today. Yes, he can finalize the list and see what he wants to do day by day.
Stuff though.
But yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. Not just Detroit memorabilia, because I collect a lot of memorabilia. So definitely look out for that as well too. But like I said, I'll get the list of Kool-Aid and we'll finalize it and start it off tomorrow. But I got to show you these videos because once again, please stop doing this shit at the gym. I'm telling you right now, stop it.
Oh, TGT.
Oh no.
TGT.
I need my shirt.
No.
Oh no, it was way worse. Wow.
Oh no, it was way worse.
That got
way worse.
You want to know what I thought that elastic band was going to pop him in the back of his fucking neck, dog. Oh my God.
I wasn't ready.
Oh.
Golly.
It was way worse.
Oh my God.
I need my tough guy in training shirts, man.
TGT.
Goodness.
God damn. That's just not smart, dog.
Like I said, stop
doing
doing this shit.
I can silhouette the logo for tough guy in training.
Out of all the places you could have tied the elastic band, why the fuck would you tie it to the goddamn the dumbbell bench? Like, I don't understand, bro. Like
what's the silhouette? It's like Jerry West, but like, is he dead?
Yeah, no, for real. That's a lot of weight that fell on him.
I saw you die.
You're right. I saw you die. That is a lot of weight.
I was faking it.
I swear to God, I thought that elastic band was gonna pop him in the back of his shit, though. I ain't gonna lie.
It was
that
way
might have been
worse.
better. I ain't gonna lie.
It was way worse.
My man said you want to go old yellow style, not suffer.
Yeah, that's tough.
Goodness.
That's a lot of weight. That is a lot of weight.
I just thought he was like the cord was gonna snap and he just falls on the floor.
And all those weights like fall right into his back.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he's got
He
like,
lucky. One of them dumbbells didn't hit him in the fucking head. He would have been going to the hospital,
It's
bro.
And
then
then
it's just his spine.
They record themselves just
His
so
vertebrae.
insurance can deny you everything.
He broke his vertebrae.
Like, no, I got hurt at the gym. You got any video footage? Actually, no.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
We got more TGTs than Kool-Aid's hoop tape. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Oh, man. KG,
Shots fired.
Slinging them this
Spinal.
morning, man. Goodness.
Oh, man.
I came up
Shots
in the VHS era, man. They literally recorded myself on VHS.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Well,
like
we
I
can
said,
find the VCR, bro. You just gotta
we
find
can
the
find
tape.
a VCR. That's easy.
I don't got
Once
the
again,
tape. My
we
parents
just-
got the tape.
We can get it, convert it. We can do whatever we gotta do. We just need the tape, dog.
Hey, mom and dad, if you guys are out there, or Coach Leon Moorhead, send the tapes for me.
Like I said, we can.
You know what? I think we're just gonna have to set up some hoop runs, some WUW Crew hoop runs.
I mean, we can.
I don't know if we want modern day Kool-Aid tapes. It probably ain't the same, bro. You was making it out here seem like you was the next coming of somebody.
We can make it look like that again.
I don't want Papa Kool-Aid.
We can make it look like that again.
Oh my God.
Me and KG. Can you get a quote?
That's fine, bro.
Huh?
That's fine. If you want to do that to
We'll at
yourself,
least put
if
that
you
on
want to
there.
give yourself
I have-
arthritis, that's
I
fine.
have the
Arthritis.
big I have on the full
You
body.
gonna need it.
The full body elastic suit.
I've always been a
The
good
full
defender. You gonna
body
need it, bro.
elastic
You
suit.
gonna need it. Them knees gonna be sore.
Let's rock, boy. Let's rock.
Thought you was Starberry coming out here,
Right.
man.
In the proteges.
But oh man, like,
It gonna feel like after that game, like that whole rack of weights just fell on my back, bro.
well, would you rather the rack of weights fall on your back, or for you to take a hit like this?
Are you ready? I'm about to run through this. Reggie Bush.
Oh God.
Oh.
Come on, not in the store, dog.
At least they got on the helmets and the pads, but you're just destroying the store.
God damn.
I'm about to run through this. Reggie Bush.
You talking about Reggie Bush shit that got trucked.
Oh,
Get low.
Yeah, low man wins.
he was not low. He was
Low man
definitely not
always
low.
wins, bro. They teach you that early.
He was being so lackadaisical while his friend was taking it seriously.
Yeah, he's just kind of just
okay, cool.
walking.
And then
Reggie Bush.
He
shit.
even gave a little bit of the
Oh, yeah.
shoulder shrug.
That's crazy.
Goodness gracious.
And finally, I will end what's trending with this. I don't know what kind of car this is, but this seems like it would be an easy park job, wouldn't it?
Come on, bro. You can't get in that little. You in a fucking toaster. You can't parallel that motherfucker.
come on.
Holy
Reverse.
It's a modern car, so it's probably got like rear view, back in,
Reverse.
Come
Hey,
on,
who's
dog.
in the? I see my guy in the chat. I'm trying to figure out who this is.
What's up?
He said, "LOL, B, tell him about the summit days. All I can do is go out there and hoot now." That's it.
Right,
I see
because
one of my guys
the
over-
tapes are lost.
The lost
Long
tapes.
lost.
The lost tapes.
Right.
Shout out to the newspapers for preserving
The
what
newspapers.
VHS has locked away in some boxes somewhere.
Them newspapers yellow as shit. That's how you know they old. When they start getting that yellow tint on them.
Look, if KG gonna keep talking, we're gonna have to get that
My
content
man in
today.
here with the
Chase, fill in for
lamination.
Big D Energy.
My
All
man in
I'm
here
saying is
with
you gonna talk, we
lamination.
go out there, KG.
My man with the lamination.
I'll
dog.
do it with a smile on and a Kool-Aid shirt.
I just don't want you to pull nothing, man. You
I
know,
won't.
I'm just
Don't
saying,
worry about
dog.
me, bro.
I'm just
Look,
worried about you, man.
We can go out there and create the new footage.
I'm worried about you, man.
Chat family, do you guys want to see the footage?
My man,
you wanna
fresh
see
off the
KG
pure
and I
leaf
play?
tea. He fresh
Hey,
off the pure leaf tea.
Chat
trying
family,
to-
you guys want to see us play?
We'll have the
Yes.
Advil on
Yeah,
standby
let's
for you guys. I know that
I'm
for sure.
shy away
Let's
from
do
nothing,
it.
man. I'm just trying to keep you from being sore all goddamn
Hey, if
day.
you're gonna keep talking about it, we'll create the footage.
All right, bet.
We'll create.
Let's
the
give the
footage.
people something a little more modern, if you feel me.
Let's do that. I would do that today. Bro.
Oh, God, here you
I
go.
will
Talk
do
about
it
today.
today.
It's 40 degrees, bro. Ain't nobody hooping today.
I'll get you into a gym.
All right, bet. What's up?
We'll do it today. We'll do it today.
Shout out
We'll
to
get
Shy.
that footage.
Shout out to
And
Shy
we'll
once
lock it
again.
behind
We're
the
getting
paywall
GTA
for the,
6 before a
chat
Kool-Aid mixtape.
We got a Cena heel turn before GTA 6. Bro. All this shit is crazy.
They said they want to see it. They said yes. Let's do it. Let's rock.
Let's do it.
I'll have the Advil on standby for you guys, but that's
Right.
it for what's training.
He
What's
definitely
training, you
gonna
guys.
Why am I going? You over 32?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not the one out here proclaiming I was the next coming to Georgia.
I didn't. The papers did.
Yeah.
Hey, look, my school made me the first two times.
You was front
My
page
school
news.
made me the first two times.
You
student
was
athlete of
front
the year.
page, were you?
Hey, give Kate. You know what, Maccabi? Thank you.
Hey, when the paper boy threw it off the bicycle, you was the first face on the porch.
Let's rock. Let's rock. Let's rock.
Extra.
Rock.
Read all about it.
Let's rock. And you know what?
Out here.
And you know what?
25 cents front page news.
Where's KG's paper?
Hot off the presses.
Hey. Where's KG's paper?
Yeah, I don't have one.
Where's your tapes?
I never claimed to have one.
Where's it?
I never claimed to have one. I'm not a hooper, bro.
Bring something to
I have never been a hooper.
You ain't a talk. If you ain't a hooper,
I play
then
good
what we talking
defense.
about?
I have never been a hooper.
What are we talking about then?
Yeah, I'm talking about where the fuck your tapes at.
What are we
That's
talking
about.
What are we talking about if you're not a hooper? What are we
That's
talking
what
about?
we've been talking about the whole time.
What are we talking about, KG?
Mr. DC,
What
we need
about?
the tapes.
KG, what are we talking about?
We need the tapes.
I'll have the
I'm not a hooper, but
Tylenol,
I'm
the
gonna talk about
ibuprofen, the icy hot. I'll have it all ready for you guys once y'all get done
I'm
playing.
just ready to go
bet.
hoop now. Now I'm just
You're right.
like,
Look
let's
at
just go rock.
how the piss
Like you
Kool-Aid
talking,
on.
like, what are we talking for?
You don't want to see me on the court. I'm an elite defender. I'm not a hooper, though.
That's what he said. I'm an elite defender. You don't want to
Chase,
see me on the court. Now what you know?
Chase, you butt out of this.
No, it's
You
like,
pipe
no,
down
I'm not
over
a
there.
hooper.
This ain't got. You still don't want to even challenge me in
No,
a lyrical
no,
battle.
I'm not
but
a hooper.
Anybody here? You talk no more shit. You never back it up. You're all bark, no bite, man.
All bark, no bite. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm just saying.
Once again, you name the day that you want to come in here and rap against me. And Kool-Aid, if you want to recreate tapes,
I'm not the one ever out here claiming to be a rapper.
I don't duck no smoke.
Let's go. We'll be in there today. We will be in there today. Bro. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, gallon of Gatorade.
I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
He got the baby that
I
shit
will
after
be
the
there
game.
today, brother. I will be there today. I see you in the chat. Did we just get a super chat, JB?
Yeah, I'm not too sure the name, but it's like, I got your back, B. I don't know who this is.
I don't
know who this is.
We got an unknown.
Thank you.
No, that's a
unknown.
that's a fucking burner, bro. Like it was, he ain't got no
Is this
name
you,
on
Kool-Aid?
it. What
Like,
type
is
of shit?
this your burner? You got
Now I'm ready to
Kool-Aid
play,
got
man.
the
I'm just
burner,
ready to
man.
hoop at this point.
Unnamed account. Talking about some I got your back.
Got your back, B. Who is this?
Hey man, you lucky we got to record wing side, goddammit. Oh my god.
That guy 62 chased the hill. I just want to hoop now, bro. That's it.
I done pissed him off. Kool-Aid about to go home and just start shooting jumpers for no reason.
I'm not wasting those jumpers on practice. These are all for you.
Okay.
What you talking about?
That's
You talking
Hey,
so
that's-
much. You gotta have something,
That's
bro.
a bet, man.
You gotta have something.
That's a
Jumpers
bet.
all for you.
That's right, broder. Barcane, you better tell them all bark no motherfucking bite. I stand on business around here. So I'm just saying.
Man wrote his bars on Tuesday and didn't tell you guys what the
Chase, is it Wednesday,
Friday morning.
Thursday? Chase,
Friday morning.
I don't want to hear nothing from you but a day. Is
Wrote it on
Wednesday?
Tuesday,
Is it
didn't tell you the
Thursday?
topic till Friday
Is it
morning.
Friday? Just
Hold
let
on,
me know. Is it
that's
the
serious.
weekend? Like, let me know what the day is. bro.
TB.
It's Terrence.
TB.
Yeah.
TB. Hey, Terrence. One, congratulations on the kid too, brother. But T, thank you for tapping in this morning, brother. Thank you. It's ironic, dog.
Right.
Thank
Kool-Aid
you for
needs
tapping in,
support.
T. Thank you for tapping in, T.
Kool-Aid
Somebody
needs some
I actually
support.
hooped with and won championships with. Thank you, T. Thank you. Hey, see if Uncle B got the Church League tapes at the very least.
Kool-Aid about to go
Oh,
home
we
and put the
create that
wristbands on. It is over. for-
TB,
hey,
tell
Kid
KG
Kool-Aid,
he don't
Kid
want
Kool-Aid,
this, T.
hide, bro.
Tell him in the chat he don't want it.
Some bucky.
Kool-Aid about to
I
go home
can't
throwing an and one mixtape real
Right.
quick.
Oh my god.
Today, bro?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we'll wrap up.
Right. Wrap it up, B. No tape. Wrap it up, B.
Ooh. Don't take no knees to dot that eye, bro. That's the show. Chat family as always, man.
Kool-Aid, it's all love, bro.
Chat family as always. You guys are the most
Kool-Aid, man, for
important part
real.
of this. I don't care if people talk junk. It's just, bro, let's just back it up and let's just get to it. There ain't no need to talk no more. That's what it is. Matt Broder, that dude Justin. Shout out to you guys and all that you do for us. Kavasi Chase, what up, though, brother?
Hey, what up? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you have a good morning. Stay tapped in. Big D Energy, Ermanni and Edwards. Heavyweights wrap up the day. Shout out my dad. Shout out the guys at Seymour Ford. Shout out Eaton. Shout out Mr. Lockridge. Heard you're listening, so hope you have a good one, sir.
Hey, I see you in the chat. We got one more. $2 super chat, TSU. He said, yeah, Them Ipsy days, those summit days. Well, though. In the sound booth, still elite though. Still elite. We got one KG.
But
that
those
is Detroit's
days are
number one
gone.
draft pick.
They're just
AKA
memories.
Black Hollywood.
Hey, it seems like yesterday.
We got a lot of tape of him
It
running
was
his mouth.
just a
That's what we
dream.
got. KG in the sound booth.
Nah, man.
Now we got a lot of trash talk videos.
Listen,
That's
bro.
your highlight tape.
You know it's all love, but I am also, on the other hand, not ducking no smoke. So it is just fine. But I love everyone on the WUW Crew
Ducking
equally.
smoke? You created the smoke.
Even Kool-Aid,
You
even
created the
Chase.
smoke.
I love all my brothers on the WUW Crew, man. But shout out to y'all. We got an emergency Woodward ringside going down today. We got to react to what the hell happened. And yeah, let's keep this shit rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. It's a victory trophy. It's a double. Titty booth, man. It's JBSmooovv. What up, though?
Yo, what's going on? Shout out to everyone tapping in with us today. Big shout out to Christopher Bell going back to back both weekends,
Back to
winning.
back.
I know, on NASCAR. Shout out to the man, Chase. Your guy Chase Elliott came in fourth.
Yeah, namesake. You know, we share a name.
Namesake. Will Bynum, kind of my guy, but he couldn't last in the end of this race as well too. Like I said, we're gonna start that super chat up tomorrow, giving away some merch and some memorabilia, hopefully. And if you guys see anyone at your local basketball hoop establishment, park or whatever, that two guys that are just passed out, please just call 911 because they both gonna need some Tylenol, icy hot, and probably a day's worth of rest.
What if I told you?
No matter what happens, it will be on tape. At the very least.
It'll be on tape.
It'll be documented.
It will be, you know what? It's already been documented. It's my high school. It is what it is.
Just call 911 if you see him out there laid out on the court.
The Veteran Squad, the Veteran Network, Woodward Sports Veteran Squad, Veteran Network, Veteran Show as well. Held it down for a long time because Tom Stockton is still crushing. Brought the heat today. Flannel Sam, our Red Wings correspondent. Oh, Blue Up.
I sure did bring the heat until the end. There was no heat needed for me whatsoever. So we should all just kumbaya and get along as a WUW Crew. But whatever you guys need to settle, go ahead and settle. But great show. See you all tomorrow.
Yep. Bye, Tabby.
And it's your boy Brandon Jan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for Network. And I just want to hoop.
I just want to hoop.
So wake up, whoop. Hit that like button if you haven't on the way out.
He ain't put that basketball down yet.